You know when you're ready. Ready? Ready to go. Great. Okay. Oh, yeah, hey, Bennett. Good morning, everyone. Dave, Yahagi. We are going to go ahead and get our Health Education Human Service Committee started. There are 4 of us, which constitutes a quorum. So we'll go ahead and have our staff do a roll call. And I'll hand the gavel back over to chairs.
Good morning, everyone. Health Education and Human Services Committee members and Madam Lecturer and Chair James. Roll call for September 8th, 2025, regular meeting at 10 a.m. in the Budget and Finance Conference Room. Honorable Vincent James.
Delegate James present.
Honorable Vincent James is present. Honorable Helena Nestigate. Honorable Helena Nestigate is present. Honorable Dr. Andy Ness. Honorable Dr. Andy Ness is present. Honorable Jermaine Simonson.
President.
Honorable Jermaine Simonson is present. Honorable George Toth.
I'm good, man.
Honorable George Toth is present. Honorable Curtis Demito.
I'm here.
Honorable Curtis Demito is present. Mr. Chair, you have 6 members present. Constitute the quorum.
All right, thank you. And so with that, we'll go ahead and go to invocation. We have a volunteer to do invocation. Committee members? Good, thank you. Yeah, no.
Something really to be really something you call not that they don't tsunami to which I think they still have children don't given on the party if not go on that. Well, only that paid that on the big report and the all it is not a high net or if you can that a coma. I hold on one see case story a common hands in at Anita has twin designs the last of action. A thought that is over in the past that we learned that in the last I don't think that's control. Yeah, no. Get a for the table season then get in the case. Then you get over on the Benani table listening in the Chicago National. That's what the name of it. Not only clinic on Aid Harbonia and Pedro by means and function but aid now on the John concert and then you give you Washington's army to commercial and advocate that need for anyway, yeah, taken many it's an army case of the executive branch to legislative branch, judicial branch, throughout the nation to Chicago and Laney that Washington's article Washington DC one of definite for the hidden lado something con Joe Biden con Hassan and Kai con Chino con it's on hasn't come in a star. The street in any antique case can't begin in any antique case. But Chendo left on has 20 designs, the last sort of and John that was a con. How was in London on Chendo, Smuggles, Jack, and they start as a accountants on to that case. I was handling all this party. Joe Biden and the Consa and the Chicago in a big in zone in certain countries Chicago. That's why we have freedom, that's why we have religion on Chicago. That's why we can speak anytime we want to. We're saving our country, not our nation on Chicago. A case of the but all job is sitting on a to check some nice thing on the show. Automatically.
Yeah, Donna, those are not us, on the whole. Communication. Accedere no, sono andando, e con the note. So with that, committee members, do you have an announcement? Rob? Denali?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, the health education rules and this committee. For under your reports for the, Navajo Head Start, it was requested by, Health Coach Jackson, the, maybe very young, because she's on the meeting. And to add Dr. Rolanda Billy, as, and the title is Head of Educational Services. And that'll be go under the names.
And so with that, that will go on to item number 3. Announcement, committee members, other related announcements. There is none. We go move on to the next item, which is item number 2, recognizing this and visiting officials. Again, good morning, everyone. We don't think this is important. Thank you for coming and joining and sitting with us with the Health Education Human Service Committee. Today, September 8th. Thank you for being here in person. So I just wanted to acknowledge you at this time for being here with us. In Mobile, Arizona. Also those that are on the call. Again, on Zoom, if you are listening or if you can hear me again, thank you for joining us this morning through virtual. So with that, committee members, if there's not another recognition, I'd like to move forward to the next item. And that is item number 3, review and adopt the agenda. That's that.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, members of the Health Education Human Services Committee, we have your proposed agenda in the Health Education Human Services Committee. We're good now, we see council, we're doing meeting September 8th, 2025. At 10 a.m. Presiding Honorable Vincent James, Chairperson, Honorable Jermaine Simonson, Vice Chairperson, Princess of Budget, Finance Commissioner in person, via telecommunications, Winter Rock, Navajo Nation, Arizona. One call meeting to order, roll call vacation announcements to recognize guests and visiting officials. 3, review and adopt the agenda. 4, review and adopt the journal plan. 5, reports. 8, was it presentation? Isaiah, Kansas Medicine, and introductory presentation. Presenters are Daniel Montano, Chief Executive Officer, Dr. Jacobs, President, and Vika Montano, Executive Vice President, with Community Tribal Relations, and they're all with the Kansas Medicine. B is the Nation Guidance Administration, a follow-up on the need with resolution of veterans' homes in Tajay, Nation, New Mexico. An update on the funding of the budget for construction of veterans homes, update on the construction timeline and completion of veterans homes in each of the navigation agencies. Presenters are Bobby Baldwin, Executive Director, Myra Keller, Housing Specialist Officer, and William Nez, Housing Program Manager. C is a report on the progress and update and revising information to legislation 0195-24, an action relating to the Law and Order Committee of the Health Education Human Services Committee approving amendments to the Alabama Child Support Guidelines and Child Support Schedule. And it has the legislative history following the title. Presenters are Division of Human Resources and Smith Todd Director or Director for Division of Human Resources, Stephanie Manelli, Deputy Director, Division of Human Resources, Judy Gerald, Program Manager, DHR, Department of Child Support Services, Department of Justice, Christopher Snyder, Principal Attorney, Navajo DOJ, Brenda Anderson, and his Principal Court Advocate is Navajo DOJ. He is an Navajo Head Start, Department of Communication, the current treasury at Navajo Head Start building on July 21st, 2025, follow up on the education following the Navajo Nation police report and reporting the incident.
And also the Secretary enacted or evaluation of national policies. Presenters are Dr. Jackson, NHS, Assistant Superintendent, Renee Leonard, Director of Finance, Valencia Lewis, delegated, HR Manager, Department of Education, Claudia Edgewater, Superintendent of Doty, and Dr. Shayla Ellis, Assistant Superintendent of Doty. Department of Justice, Brenda Anderson, Principal, Federal Court Advocate, now for Department of Justice. 6 business, A is legislation number 0007-25, the National Data Resource Involving Indiana Health Education and Human Services Committee approving NAPO Division of Transportation Social Media Policy. Sponsored through the delegate representatives. The sponsors are Delegate Sherman Law and Delegate Jimmy Simon Senpai. Following that is the legislative history for the particular legislation, and it does is requesting a motion for removing it from the table. 7 is new business. A is legislation 0210-25, the National Legislative Health Education and Services Committee, the PADA committees, confirming the appointment of Dr. Dolly Madison to the name College Board of Regents for the 6-year term. Sponsors are Delegate Monaso, co-sponsored is Delegate Coach. And is eligible for election on September 8th, 2025. And 8 is close of meetings, announcements and adjournment, and dates and titles are listed below. Mr. Chair.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Spinall for that. So with that, many member earlier in the announcement, will request to strike out Mr. Dave Mariano Director of Finance from item D and enter Dr. Just so you know. So with that, committee member, is there a motion second? Motion made by Honorable Orlando Escudero, and then second by Honorable Curtis Benito. Are there any amendments, corrections, add-ons, deletions? Any members? Thanks, question from the National Head Start. Then I believe the motion parties are okay with that. I'm even as you get over Curtis Benito to change out the name there. Are there any others, presenters, or any items on the agenda? If there is none, we do have a motion second, so there's none, so how do you vote on board issue? Green. Honorable Cole? Green, sir. Honorable Dr. Ness? Green. Honorable Vice Chair?
Green.
Honorable Orlando Escudero? Green. With that, we have 5 in favor, 0 opposed, and 1 not voting, and that is shared. So with that, we move on to item 4. Reviewing down the journal, there's none, a report. That we have presenters here, I believe we have James Medicine that is here to do the presentation, and you have all the presenters who are here. So with that, we will go ahead and provide you 20 minutes to do your presentation. Mr. D has said he was doing very much. I don't see no lunch or breakfast around here, I say food. It was really,
It's waiting for you in Las Vegas.
if we want to present, we'll bring some food for you.
I know, and I live by it.
So with that, you may come up and I'm joined with other presenters. So with that.
Yeah.
Floors. Presenters, again, you will have 3 minutes, how do you want to share? I don't know if you have the visual that will take most of the time.
I'll take most of the time, sir.
So that, I need that up to you guys present, but you will only be granted 30 minutes. If you need additional time at the end of your presentation, then please ask the committee. At the time that you would like to ask for, and if I have the consensus of the committee, then we'll go ahead and honor that. Additional time at the end, for now, it's just 20 minutes of the budget presentation. So with that, if there's no other questions regarding the presentation, or yours, so I'm going to do it first, and who wants to be, or how you want to share the time. So, orders.
Sheila, thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, your vice chair, other members of the committee. Yeah, it's Shindo de good morning. We'll make it a presentation. You're quite in is don't Dan, I mean, I know him for a number of years, a lot of years. I've kind of seen him. I was not Asian. I ran into him again. They said, I invited them. They're busy. It's a busy group. They're a very busy group. So even that's the way it's done. Okay. So, since we got very little time, I don't have it to be any share. I don't have to get Kiani. I don't have to kill some. That's just it's honest as a chain. One time, for the chief, I don't have but we'll go ahead and start with the presentation. I'll give it over to Dan, CEO.
First of all, I'd like to thank you for the opportunity for us to come here. Zhikje in Ukrainian means life. We've been at this for over 25 years, and we've gone through $190 million. Before I get to the quick presentation, which is introducing our medicine, I'd like to make one statement, and that is, my grandfather was Shakti India. I'm 25% guy, which means I may not be smart, but on your screen, you can see the title of this presentation, which is Freedom to Try Advanced Medicines for Sick People. We're going to talk about economic opportunity for the Navajo Nation, which will not exceed our 20 minutes. Next slide, Victor. This is a presentation about the cause of death for 65% of all the people on Earth is insufficient blood. We have presented you a printout of the presentation, and we have other brochures that you can read later on if you are excited about what you see. Next slide, Victor. These are the diseases that are insufficient blood flow to a tissue or organ. Heart disease, stroke, that's all this stuff there. Lung, vascular, type 2 diabetes, Parkinson's, diabetic foot ulcers, traumatic brain injuries, long COVID, Alzheimer's, peripheral artery disease, diabetic foot ulcers, autism. All of these diseases are insufficient blood. I don't know how many Navajos have type 2 diabetes, but we are treating it and curing it. 65% of all people die. We have shown that we can stimulate the growth of new blood vessels in the human body without any adverse events. What I want to jump to quickly, Vika, is cardiovascular disease. Number one cause of death in the world. It'll kill 2 out of 3 people in this room. So do me a favor, look to your right, look at that person to your right. Now look to the person at your left. If it's not both of them, you better pay attention to me. That's a joke. Okay, 12 million Americans die from lack of blood flow. 700,000 a year, 300 million people. They primarily die of small vessel disease. This is ABC News doing a presentation on a human trial, FDA cleared University of Cincinnati. Run it back louder. Do it, Victor. This is when it's introduced surgically, it has to be injected into the heart muscle where the tissue is ischemic. We've done this on over 100 people, 50 in Germany, 50 in the United States. That is our medicine. Is injected one time or one series of times into the heart muscle. You can see the animation of the picture. There's the blockage. This grows blood vessels around the blockage. And this is an angiogram of a person's heart before the dosing. You can see at the bottom of it, there's very little dark area, which is blood flow. There's no blood vessels there. You do the injection. This is 3 months later. You can see the new blood vessels down in the corner. This person had been given less than 12 months to live. After we dosed her, she lived 15 years. We've gone through up to the phase 2 trials in the heart. It's also, this is the woman, Constance Donnelly. She lived 15 more years, but the FDA would not allow us to retreat her. And so there's applications to other areas. The next one is neurodegenerative diseases, Parkinson's, stroke recovery, Alzheimer's. I'm going to go to Parkinson's real quick. We've dosed over 200 Parkinson's patients. There have been no adverse events, no skin is broken, it's taken up the nose, I'll show you that in a second. Those people within the first 6 months, there was 53% improvement in their motor scores, 21% improvement in their blood flow. I'm gonna show you this real quick. This is, we took a Parkinson's patient to Washington University, St. Louis. We took a functional MRI scan of the blood flow in their brain. We dosed them, brought them back 6 months later, blood flow in the brain increased 21%. Never happened before in human history, it's a medical breakthrough, and that would therefore apply also to stroke, dementia, and all other vascular diseases of the brain. We'll look at next slide, this is showing you how it works. And she turned off the sound, so I'm gonna be talking about it. Every brain, every neuron in your body needs blood. Lack of blood flow leads to diminished performance of the neurons. Here you can see there's the blood flow going by. Every cell has to take blood. Every cell needs it. If it doesn't, they start to suffer and die. By stimulating new blood vessel growth, we take the medicine up the nose. You can see it right there. I've taken it about 70 times. Jack's taken it about 30 times. Vic has taken it about 5 times. It grows new blood vessels and enhances the blood flow in the brain. And for those of you in Navajo territory, you know that without the crops don't get water, the crops don't grow. The brain doesn't get blood, the brain doesn't perform. We've done this now in over 220 Parkinson's patients, 5 stroke patients, 2 dementia patients, and 2 autism patients. We have had 0 adverse events. And I'm going to show you now, next slide, Vicka. This patient, you can see his right hand, he's from Midland, Texas, petrochemical country. You see his right hand tremors, he can't shave, he can't hold a glass of water. There he is 2 weeks later. You see his hand? Calm enough for surgery. Here's another lady. This is a gentleman, Mark Davis, May 23. Look at his right foot. He's trying to tap. He's trying to lift his foot. Being asked to lift his foot, he can't walk. This is 2 years later. That's him walking down his road unassisted. Now, did this happen fast? No, it doesn't happen fast. It's like recovering from a stroke. Next one, Victor. There's a lady, Gail. You can see she's asked to move her hand. She's being asked to stand up. She cannot. That's January 24, people. There she is 2 years later with her husband. Now, she doesn't need him for balance, but she prefers him because she's walking again. Next one, Victor. This is the picture I just showed you, 21% increase in blood flow. They can zoom in on the substantia nigra. Red means dry, drought tissue in the brain. Yellow means more blood. 20% improvement. The man went from being a zombie who couldn't remember where he was and could barely walk. Now he's telling jokes going back to the days in Vietnam. Next one, Vicka. Stroke recovery. We dosed 5 patients. We've had no adverse events. People's scores have improved. Next one, Vicka. Here you can see in animals. We gave the animals identical stroke, white as dead brain tissue. We give them FGF1 and you can see that there's less dead tissue. Next one, Vicka. You can take the same animals, you can put them on a rotating bar. Normal mice can stay on that bar without a problem. Mice that were given a stroke and FGF1, they're on the bar, they're not doing great. But the ones that had the stroke and got up to sea level, they're off the bar. We've done stroke patients. Next one, Vicka. Now, type 2 diabetes, this is a medicine that we have, our medicine. We've put in 25 people. Everyone has recovered from stroke. There's over 37 million people with diabetes in the United States, 462 in the United States, or in the world. Hit the next slide. We've dosed 25 patients, 100% have recovered and are no longer diabetic. They have stopped using their diabetic medicine and therefore the adverse events correlated or diminished. Next slide. We have just got approval by IRB in Nevada to treat 100 type 2 patients. We manufacture our drug in Reno, Nevada. The trials will be in Las Vegas. So it doesn't leave the state of Nevada, it's interstate. And we're trying to create the Nevada freedom to try. Next page is a slide picture of the presentation on type 2 diabetes. You should care. It affects a lot of people. Next one, Vicka. What are we asking from an Navajo Nation? What is our ask? Why have I come 700 miles? I don't want your money. I don't need anything except for you to honor the Declaration of Helsinki, which is already the standard. Vincent told me you have an IRB. They are in compliance with the Declaration of Helsinki, which is To do medical research, you have to have a doctor present a protocol. You have to have an IRB of it. And then the patient gets informed of the risk, the reward, and then patient signs a consent form. Next one, Dick. All we're asking the Navajo Nation is to give us the freedom to follow the rules you're already following, but you're not doing them here. We will recruit the patients from everywhere in the world. Right now, we're clearing the British Virgin Islands, where we've been dosing people for Parkinson's. We've dosed over 220, as I mentioned. Some have come from Bolivia, Zambia, Seychelles Islands, Bangladesh. They have come from New Zealand, Australia. They go there because they have Parkinson's and they would rather travel to the BVI and be treated. I believe as it comes to the Navajo Nation. Questions? 4 minutes and 75 seconds left, sir. Anybody have questions?
Question will be after the presentation.
I think I've just finished the listen, I've never run over.
So you're waiting the rest of the time now?
I can use the rest of the time. We have a little red book here which explains how the medicine works, the biological material. Dr. Jacobs here was at Washington University, St. Louis, when the molecule was discovered. When he was only 4 years old, because it was 60-some years ago. He's been with this molecule, was first identified in the early 1980s, was originally licensed to Merck, who considered it to be the holy grail of medicine because it automatically triggers the body's regenerative process. Everybody in this room has used this molecule thousands of times. Every woman who's been pregnant in the second and third trimester make 30 times more of this molecule in their body for the fetus and the blood cells to grow for the fetus. This molecule has regrown your skin whenever you injured your shoulder or your arm when you fell down, and it's constantly going. As you get older, you don't have the trauma and you don't develop it. That's all we're doing is reintroducing it. Vika has been my wife. Vika is from Ukraine. She was a translator for the first president of Free Ukraine. The reason the name of the company is Zhitya, which is Ukrainian for life, is because every married man in this room knows when your wife suggests something, you've got two choices. Agree or suffer until you agree. So we yielded fast, right, Jack? How much time I have left, young lady?
28 seconds.
8 minutes? Wow. Okay. I honestly, I've summarized the basic presentation. We have this paper on chronic wounds. We've got clearance now in Nevada to do chronic wounds. 6 diabetic foot ulcers. We've been treated since the 1980s by Merck. We heal 100% of chronic diabetic foot ulcers. We have a copy of the first initial paper talking about what we're looking for, the freedom to try. We have copies of the presentation for those people that aren't here that want to see it. And we're here because I believe sincerely that all the Navajo Nation has to do is say, we will comply with the laws we've already agreed to, the Declaration of Helsinki. We will set up a clinic. We will bring patients from outside of the Navajo Nation. The reason is very simple. Considering the heart drug is the #1 cause of death in the world. We've been at DFT now for 25 years. We've gone through $100 million at the FDA. For those of you who don't listen to Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who says the FDA is corrupt, I can tell you they're corrupt. They have no interest. I did not bring you copies of the Goldman Sachs article, which I'd be glad to give you. Goldman Sachs in 2018 was asked to write a paper for the pharmaceutical industry on what should they do. Goldman Sachs said they should not heal their patients. I repeat, Goldman Sachs said it is a bad business model to cure your patients. A company had developed a treatment for hepatitis C as a 90% cure rate. And Goldman Sachs said, look, if their revenues collapse as they cured their patients. And besides destroying their existing customers, the people they cured did not go out and infect others. We believe there are cures out there, as we demonstrated, whether it's type 2 diabetes, diabetic foot ulcers, stroke, Parkinson's. We have no issue with doing it. And there are other treatments out there that we have seen, including eradicated cancer tumors, that are still on the shelf. Because according to the London School of Economics, to get a drug to the United States FDA costs $1 to $2 billion and takes 18 years. I'm 77 years old. Based on what I believe, I've only got another 40, 50 good years left in me before I'm gonna have to retire. If your body can regenerate, it should. That's what we're here to talk about. Vicky, anything? 5 minutes?
Wow, you could.
Yeah.
Go ahead. For being half Indian and half Mexican and half Irish, this is really kind of embarrassing. Jack, you have anything?
It's a very safe drug. We've seen no adverse events in any of the patients, so.
Now that's 0 adverse events. Anybody, Merck, everybody, never.
So, I'm very comfortable with this drug. I've taken it myself and, yeah, I think it's gonna be a very important drug in the future.
And by the way, he looked like this before he took it too. I don't want you getting the wrong idea. Vika, comments?
So it is a native protein, it's already in you. So every time you injure yourself, it comes to the injured site, it's like a composer. But in case of the neurodegenerative diseases, so those diseases we're talking about, there is no traumatic event. And therefore this protein never comes in to activate regeneration. So by artificially or therapeutically reintroducing this drug into the injured tissue, we create this, regeneration effect.
Let me also make a comment. If you go on Google and you search Parkinson's disease, there's a good chance you will see our ads asking, are you interested in being treated for Parkinson's disease in a medical research study? We spend a little over 100,000 a month. We get thousands of responses. We are going to do the same for type 2 diabetes. We're going to do the same for diabetes. The people out there are millions of people who are sick and they want to be treated. They're desperate. They want to be treated. They know. Now, for those of you who understand, we don't call this the right to try. We call this the right to freedom. The right to try passed by the federal government 7 years ago has been used 18 times. It is so restrictive, a cancer patient can't use it. An ALS patient was turned down. We believe that all the states that have passed the right to try, nobody uses it because it's not the right to try. It's the freedom to provide that is needed. And that's what we're talking about. We have a relationship with a company called Cross Border Medical. They market and they recruit the people, they screen them, they get all the legal documents, all the consent forms, and everything we do is by the book. And I believe it'll be a lot easier getting people to the Navajo Nation than the British Virgin Islands. For those of you that have never been to the British Virgin Islands, the whole country is 27,000 people. And you got to come by boat or the one flight that comes in a day. It is not easy. But we've had people fly from everywhere in the world to go there. I got 2 minutes left and I'm going to grace them back.
Yeah.
As a good I'm sorry, I'll give it to Victor because he should say something in Navajo.
Well, I think the good part about this DDI, this drug, and we know they are Navajo country. They really, you'd never diabetes, just recently, your cousin, he's a young guy, asked Anina, no, your diabetes, just, it's uncalled for, so the only solution to ISS is just amputate. That's not a cure, that's that just kind of delays.
I got one more thing.
Okay.
Thank you for the extra minute. Holistic medicine is what the Navajo Nation used before Rockefeller's chemicals. Holistic medicine was all throughout the world. In Europe, it does 30% of the medicine is holistic. Holistic. 30% in Europe. They have longer lifespans, half the chronic diseases, and 1/3 the cost. It has been banned in the United States by the FDA. You cannot do that. And just as a comment, because I love the Navajo, you're using medicines here that are not legal by the FDA definition. My grandmother's chicken soup and her hot tea with lemon, whatever, that was holistic medicine to try and cure my cold or whatever. You do it already. It's legal what we're talking about everywhere, except everybody is scared to death of the FDA.
Yeah.
In spite of the fact they co-conspired to kill a lot of you with their COVID-19 shots.
So I think you're, yeah. الشعير لا هنيجي
Finish it.
So الشعير لا هنيجي I think it is in my eyes it's really a good system. It really is the best way to do it.
How much money are we asking for?
No money from the tribe, nothing from the tribe. All we ask is we provide everything. We provide the buildings. We'll do it ourselves. So that's the key element. So there's really, we're not asking for a contract. We're not asking for money from you. So all we need.
And once we start, my friend, they're gonna come. Others will come.
Yeah. So IRB, if we need to go answer them to them, we have no problem going to them for that. Yeah.
Alright, so with that, thank you very much, again, for the presentation. So that was 20 minutes, and so with that, committee members, there was no additional minutes that was requested, so if I can get a motion or a second. Motion made by Honorable Don George Schultz, and then second by Honorable Curtis Emilio. Committee members, are there any questions pertaining to the presentation, the handouts that we have? Going once, going two times, three times. Honorable Yunito?
Yeah, I got some lots of questions. Who developed this drug? Where are you guys selling it? And who did you guys use it on?
Okay, I'll answer. Who developed the drug? God.
Dan, really quickly, we have committee rules here.
Yes, sir.
Wait to be acknowledged to respond.
Sorry? Oh, I'm good. I apologize.
Yeah. So with that, back to Honorable Yunito.
Use your mic. Okay,
Thank you.
yeah, thanks for your presentation here. Daniel, Victoria, was it?
Montana.
Montana.
Yeah. I just had a lot of questions on your really fast response on your presentation here. That, who developed this drug and are you guys selling that and how you guys are, who would you guys use it on and where and so forth? Chair.
All right, yeah, thank you. So with that, moving on to Honorable Dr. Lynn. Or was that Honorable Vice Chair? Honorable Vice Chair.
Thank you for your presentation. I just have a couple of questions. So if I'm understanding correctly, you develop a medication of some sort that has not been approved by FDA. But you're coming to us, the Navajo Nation, because you feel that we are a sovereign nation and we may have a little bit more ability to do different things, so, or to maybe, have, I don't know if your medicine, as you call it, is maybe you call it, or it's being called an alternative medicine. I don't know, what category it's in. And so I just, so I'm assuming that you're thinking the nation will embrace that and be able to allow you to set up shop here so that you can see patients. So I think that's what you're asking is you want, I guess, that one example is like our diabetes clinics here. They're there are clinics and that's where you go to get your, the blood, work done. So what I'm hearing you saying is like, you wanna be able to set up a clinic of some sort here on the nation. And you'll be able to receive, patients from all over the world, basically. And so I think that's what you're asking. So I just need some clarification, and I may have more questions depending on your response.
Yeah, thank you, for that honorable, vice chair. So with that, let me turn it back over to Mr. Venice for response.
Quickly, the medicine is natural to your body. You generate it, all mammals generate it, reptiles generate it. The FGF1 molecule exists in almost all animals above reptiles. It's been around for hundreds of millions of years. You've probably used it 10,000 times since you cut your elbow. It was FGF1 that told your body to grow new skin, new nerves, new hair follicles. It is a natural medicine. Like insulin is natural to your body, FGF1 is natural to your body. It was identified, it wasn't developed. It was identified in research work done at Washington University, St. Louis, one of the most respected medical research institutions in America, in the lab that Dr. Jacobs worked at. It was acquired and licensed by Merck, then the leading pharmaceutical company in America, because it was considered the holy grail of medicine. This molecule can repair almost everything, and each of you have used it many times. The commercial development of it is what we're talking about. And that's the process we've been going through for the last 25 years. And our barrier is approval of the FDA, who changes the rules, who changes this, who makes everything impossible. We have sold the medicine in our medical research studies in the British Virgin Islands, in the Bahamas. And those are the two places that we have received cash. The answer is we don't have a shortage of people who want to buy the medicine. We have people from all over the world that are prepared to go anywhere in the world to get the medicine because they'd rather lose their Parkinson's or their stroke or whatever. Our problem is finding those locations. Now, in answer to the lady's question, the medicine, everything you said is 100% right. The answer is very simple. I used to be very active in economic development. Before I started this company for 30 years, I was an investment banker. I took about 100 companies public. I raised billions of dollars. I was very close to the Reagan White House and the Bush White House. I went all over the world on economic development. The Navajo Nation lacks economic development. You don't have casinos like in Southern California or in Texas. You lack economic development. This molecule is better known than you could imagine. If you would be kind enough to write down the following for me. Write down glucose sensing neurons plus FGF1. Do your own research. Assume I'm crazy, assume I'm a liar. Look up glucose sensing neurons plus FGF1. You will find thousands of research papers from all over the world saying that when FGF1 is introduced into the brain, the glucose sensing neurons that are responsible for type 2 diabetes reset in animals in hours and in humans in days. The research we're talking about has been going on for 30 years, but it hasn't gone to the commercial stage because the FDA doesn't buck the diabetes drug cartel. Diabetes is responsible for 25% of every health dollar spent in America. The diabetes drug cartel gets $45 billion a year. I can show you animal study after animal study that says type 2 diabetes can reverse, done by institutions like Salk, Howard Hughes, Yale, On and on. They've been showing for 12 years, type 2 diabetes can be cured. So why hasn't Big Pharma seen this? Why haven't they spent a few $1 million? Oh, that would wipe out 400 billion of business.
Kennedy Jr. gets on a plane and flies to Antigua to get an alternate treatment. His comments are, why is it Americans have to flee America for treatments? The big pharma chemical are killing more people.
Recording in progress.
Thank you.
I did.
And then also, to me, I have a question and doubt. The reason is we need to, I cannot approve it until consult people. You just can't come over and start testing people. I disagree with that. Because we need to educate our people. First, we have units, we have departments that we need to consult. Before I make a decision for my people, I have more information. It means it's like a car dealership, selling products, vehicles. We don't want that. We're sick and tired of that. So I would appreciate we can have more steady on this, what you're proposing. Question I have also is where are you going to live?
Where what?
Where are you going to be located? Also, have you consulted with IHS? I don't know. It seems like just come over, hey, we can talk to Navajo people, they can say we can, that's not it, it's not this.
No, that's not the case.
To me, I kept my people, I protect my people before I make a decision. Before I say yes, I would like to study more of your organization. It's good or bad. If you're sure you're saying you don't want money, where are you going to be located? How you can get your people to your side? So I'm concerned because I protect my people, especially elderly that are won't communicate, with less education. How can we translate into this steady and, culture of elders? That's why I'm looking. We just can't rush in and say, hey, come over, come and test me, So that's the concern that I have. And I appreciate that, we need to, for me, I'm not gonna drink today because I need some more information So I can tell my people. Instead of we allow them to come in and make that decision, testing people. It's not like that, so. Need to have a little respect to try it. So I would appreciate that, so thank you, Chair.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Tom. With that, let me move on to Honorable Hernandez again.
Oh, good morning and thank you for your presentation. And I understand where you come from. To walk and to live a life and witness what you're talking about. Going in and out of the ER with family members. And sometimes, you know, you can't do so much for them. Seems like I walked that for the last so many years of my life. And yes, we have a lot of type 2 diabetes out there. Yes, we have a lot of people that get stroke. Working in the senior center as a supervisor, I've seen it. And some of my elders, you know, we saw them walking, next thing you know, they were sitting in wheelchairs because they didn't walk really. And in our IHS hospital, that is the 38 are not giving us the best treatment that Navajo should be getting. I witnessed that.
Yeah.
And I just don't really understand why we're treated that way. Especially once we went to 638, we were getting our own insurance and everything. I thought we would get a better service then. That we were giving to an IHS where we got the service we were going to the 638, we were told that person's like that for the rest of their lives. I heard it. And then you see all these, you know, and that makes you think, you see all this advertisement and promotion and all that, of this what you're talking about, and you think about it and you look at it, you see, if it goes up, if it is.
Yeah.
So, you know, as Navajos, we have to really, for us to really believe in it, you know, we have to, you know, we have to see it. That's just how we are. And you, the Victor,
Victoria.
if you could tell us, you know, how you witnessed this, you know, maybe that will, we must split the story coming from you. So yeah, think about it. So it sounds like I've seen even younger kids with diabetes nowadays. And because we don't run out of the shit anymore. Our younger generation on her street that we did. When we were growing up, we ran out of the street. We rode on horse, we're out there riding the horse from sun up till sundown. Running after the street, following the rocks and climbing the rocks and, you know, climbing the trees and things like that. That was our playground. But now everybody's right here on this at home. You know that. There's no physical activities anymore, as much as it was for me to know. Last Friday night, we were out there from the morning, you know, we're out there. But I'm seeing all this, even I should have things, you know, I should have came back these, especially for the we just don't know how to really operate. So, but my request is that I want to hear from you. Thank you. I'll bring it back to you, Chair, thank you.
Okay, thank you, for that, honorable Representative Brigade, so with that, we go to Mr. B. For response to honorable Pope and honorable Bishop.
So ja, listen, are they, I didn't keep going on, expressing your concerns. I need to know she. Either, neither, either, you question a lot of things. I think Kodo needed, I invited them, protect, she now, I never, I see healthcare wise. Ebony, but I've known Dan, I've seen it, for a lot of years. Okay, well, ocean, not for eyes, I've been done, I said, let's go do it here. Even national AR, they're very busy, they're very, I see they are going somewhere all the time. I was fortunate enough to get them here, so these are untrapped, testing, no, we're not doing that. We're not testing anybody, we're not doing anything to Navajo, hey, it's this doing that, I respect. We're not, we understand where you're coming from, where we're coming from. Hey, that's my approach to it, either, and now, we know that, we have issues with IHS on in my, and they, northern facility, the RCA, which, just, northern Navajo. They, Taylor McKenzie, for any years, 20, 30, 40 years, 25 years ago. It was contract that is national art and Navajo. So he's a Cotton's again. So we put together contract, XSR contract, or at least that the those not so she's sleeping, though not only the Petani. I was like sleep, I don't machine in the Utah, there were more miracle. I show it, I hit me here, so he didn't. Utah Navajo Health System, that's how we contracted. Although Winslow became has been rolled down to. So I think, the 638, up to a point really does work, they offer better services. But, I'm sorry, you need not contract, I kind of went away, other things, so I kind of got away from healthcare, by the ways. I go to the race and in northern, the contract, and this, I'm that, so it really is, it is, IHS, we have to understand, it's a government facility. I said that I show Indian healthcare, put that in niche, and many years ago, it used to be. So oil needs, I know what it really is, Indian health, I just.
Let me in the conversation. 77 years old. I put $26 million in this project in 27 years of my life. This is the biggest medical breakthrough since penicillin. And it is going to save lives for millions of people. I did not come to the Navajo Nation to take advantage of its people. I came here because I had an opportunity to share and a gift to bring. I don't need the Navajo Nation, nor do I need to be accused. I spent $190 million proving this is safe. And people from Saudi Arabia to China, India, everywhere. And I have never jeopardized another person's life. We're done here. We thank you for the chance. We appreciate, I'm glad I came to Navajo. It's a beautiful country. Thank you. We're leaving. Let's go. I don't need to be insulted anywhere. I've given my life to this. I've given my life to saving people. No, I don't need this. I didn't come here to be treated like an idiot. I brought you a gift. You don't need it.
Dan?
Sir, I'm gone. Goodbye. Jack, let's go.
Thank you.
Have a good day, folks. have a blessed future. You invited me here. You said I'd be treated with respect. You lied to me. Where's the back?
So with that,
Let's go,
committee
Victor.
member. Committee members, there is a report that was done and a motion that was made by Honorable Cole, second by Honorable Benito. So with that, Ms. Fennell.
Sure. Sure. I remember that the college human services committee, but this microphone doesn't work, but just for the record. When the request from Mr. D was placed company on the agenda. I made it clear that no agreement that would result in this application. And when the Health and Human Services Committee did that there was no, I didn't want them to interpret it as an acceptance of their services. But it made it clear with Mr. D that it was presentation, it was the first presentation we ever heard. And that it wasn't an opportunity or an open door, to set up a business. So for the record, I just need to indicate that because we are doing this and it's a new product and we don't have a whole parameters of their study or medicine. And I did indicate to Mr. D that we have protocols, that we have an application human research board, review board that we go through. Any kind of research that takes place on the application, or we also refer to the Indian Health Services board. Any kind of I think recommendations of what kind of medication should be on the application. Thank you.
Thank you for that. With that, how do you vote, Honorable Unico?
Sorry, vote.
Red. Honorable Toll? Red. Honorable Dr. Ned? Red. Honorable Vice Chair? Red. Honorable Leader Gay? Red. So with that, we do have 4 in favor, 1 in favor, one in favor. And then 4 opposed and chair not voting. So with that, thank you, Mr. D. And that will conclude the presentation. So no, what's that? It's the presentation stuff. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so with that, we'll move on to item number D, report, which is now Nation Veterans Administration. And so with that, I do see Ms. Teller here. Say she did more one, unless Mr. Nance is here.
He's on his way.
So with that, there's only 3 visitors on here, Ms. Baldwin, Ms. Teller, and Mr. Nance. And so with that, if we can have you come up and then provide your 20-minute presentation. Carol? So with that, we do have deputy director here as well, but she's not on the agenda. And so with that, earlier when we were viewing our agenda, there were any corrections and alterations to the agenda. And so there was no comments were made from better creation. So with that, Ms. Baldwin, Ms. Teller, and Mr. Ned are the only ones that should be providing the presentation to us. So with that, follow up on the move and completion of Veterans Home and Perpetuate. Update on the funding budget for the construction of Veterans Home. Update on the construction timeline of the completion of Veterans Home and each now Nation agency. So with that, I will give you 20 minutes, Mr. Keller and Mr. Nance, to provide a report on the 3 items that are this issue on the agenda. And so with that, if we don't have any questions, I'd like to provide you with 20 minutes. And so with that, I don't think we have a hand up or anything with that, honorable Linda, again. You have questions after the presentation? Okay. And so with that, let me go to, the presenters, and your 20 minutes will begin.
Good morning, my name is William Naz, I'm the program manager. Oh, I'm sorry. Good morning, honorable delegates. The HES committee, Aroshanantay and Osenida, Spayate, Fin Kirini Dole. My name is William Naz. I am the housing program manager for the Navajo Veterans Administration. I will have Elvira actually do the presentation for the remaining funding for the housing. And then we'll give a brief update on the remaining housings and the deliveries of those. So
Sure. So with that, we'll stop the time.
Chair, I'd like to have a hand up so we can follow what's being done, not just verbally. Just to have information for us to take a few presentation. Each have a copy of this. Yeah, it is not.
You have a hand up?
I don't have it handout.
Do you have documents that you can email, it's not, could you email them?
Chair, I'm saying that is, you always get vertical, yeah. Well, change the scope of changes. So we can have the document like that, information, you see it. Hold on. Not changes.
put it in the PowerPoint up here.
Just roughly meeting, I just.
If you put it in the
And
PowerPoint there.
Email it to me and I can zero. Okay. I did do one for August 26, 2025. I believe you guys asked for them too. But I'll just email this one to you. I did email it to you back then too, but I'll email it again. Okay.
You stop the timer. So with that, I'll go ahead and call a 5-minute recess. While we await the documents. Since that was a request by Honorable Pope. With that, we'll go ahead and go for a 5-minute recess. So with that, and do a 5-minute recess, so that we can go to roll call.
Morning, Mr. Chair. Coming out of recess, 11:26, roll call, Honorable Helena Nesbegay. Honorable Helena Nesbegay did not answer, roll call, Honorable Winstar James.
Delegate James Berger.
Honorable Dr. Andy Miss. Honorable Jermaine Simonson.
Present.
Honorable George Toth.
I'm here, man.
Honorable Curtis Gavito.
Here.
Again, Honorable Helena Nesbegay. Mr. Chair, you have 5 members present, 1 in the building here, but in finance. So, in the forum.
All right, thank you very much for that, and, we'll go ahead and reconvene, and I believe that someone did email the Spinelli, and she's currently getting copies of the handout. So,
I also emailed them out to everybody.
oh, you emailed it to all three
Yes.
members? And it has been confirmed from Estella that the, presentation has been emailed to us as well. So with that, I will go ahead, and move forward with the, presentation. How many minutes does she have to?
19 minutes, 8 seconds.
Like 2 minutes and 8 seconds, so with that, the floor is yours, Ms. for this.
Good morning, Honorable Vice Chair James and Jermaine Simon, and all the committee members. Sharing my issues in the short term is only Bashishing, touching that she taking Ani that she none Tanash Jada Sha. Alvara Teller that she Jenna. I am the senior housing specialist with the Navajo Nation Veterans Housing Program. This report was submitted back on August 26, 2025, and the report was asked of us. I can go over it. Under the ARPA funding for housing, the CJN 29-22 established July 15, 2022 for the Navajo Nation Veterans Administration. The expenditure plan, the funding will provide operational funding for the Navajo Nation Veterans Administration Veteran Housing Program to provide newly constructed homes to Navajo veterans who lack permanent places to live in accordance with the approved program policy. And moving forward, approval of housing projects and manufactured housing facilities expenditure plan. Was B, the Navajo Nation hereby approves total funding for the RFR housing projects and manufactured housing facility expenditure plan from the Navajo Nation Physical Recovery Fund in the amount of $145 million. As of following, out of that, we got the $50 million to the Navajo Nation Veterans Administration housing for a new housing project as long-term housing security. Service for unhoused person as a set forth Exhibit L-2 with administration oversight by the Navajo Nation Veterans Administration and legislation oversight by the HES Committee. We were allocated $50 million on July 15, 2022. We had in the initial original contract for SWIFT, which we call Contract A Southwest Indian Foundation, they got $4,688,838. And we modified the contract to $937,767.60, which came to a total amount of $5,626,605.60. The second contract out of the $50 million was in towards Southwest also again, which was $10,526,967, with a modification of contract was $2,105,393.40, with a total amount of $12,632,360.40. Our last contract under the $50 million was to Bitco, which was $31,741,034. No modification was put there, so it had moved forward to $31,741, $34. With the total amount was $50 million. From the original contract, from the first contract, we had paid $4,238,366.90, with a balance of $1,388,238.70. That's with the first contract. The second contract under SWIFT, we have expended $4,000,000
$214,560. And we have a balance of $8,417,840. Under BITCO, we had paid the whole amount of $31,741.34. So with ARPA funding, the balance is $9,806,39.10. With contract A, which is the Southwest Indian Foundation, which was 20 homes, five was one bedroom Hogan, which we were given to 5 veterans. And then there was 15 for the 3 bedroom. And out of that, construction has not started. For this particular contract is 9, 3 are in progress, 3 are waiting for utility hookups, and 5 where we granted a home to a veteran, for a veteran to live in a home. The second contract, which is the Southwest Indian Foundation, which were 40 homes with 3 bedrooms. We have 33 that has no start, 5 is in new construction in progress, 1 completely waiting for utility hookups, and 1 out of that contract, a veteran has been granted a home. Our third contract, which was 95 homes with 3 bedroom, 19 has not started, has not started construction. 51 are in construction and 25 are waiting on utilities. So with that, the grand total of our contracts is $5,626,605.60. And the second contract is $5,632,360.40. Our third contract, $31,741,034, and that's a grand total of $50 million under the ARPA funding. Under the Veterans Trust funding, the Navajo Nation Veterans Housing Program Veterans Trust funding, this was altogether, we have 77 renovations that have been done thus far. $5,256,279.76 has been the total of what we have used. And then for new construction, we have 43 new construction, which is $15,549,408.09. With this far with the Veterans Trust Fund is $20,905,687.85. With that and said, Southwest Indian Foundation was one of the first contract that was established back in 2018. So the 10 homes under the Veterans Trust Fund, this is under the Veterans Trust Fund, 10 were given for 3 bedroom. That contract was $1,294,198.22. So with the new construction, 5 went to Fort Defiance and 5 went to Eastern, in a total of 10 homes that were granted. So I've only went back to FY 2023 with the Veterans Trust Fund housing program money. So with the FY renovation back in 2023, 73 were renovated at $4,201,945.99. Sorry. The new construction was 6 were new construction, $3,826.46. With a grand total of 79 altogether, $7,772.45. With this year, we did 4 renovations, FY 24 of $1,054,333.77. 27 are in construction at the time, but we have added more, so $11,231,353.10, which gives us a $12,285,686.87. So you'll see the renovation at FY 23 gives us the same total of 73. The new construction FY 23 with total of 6 in new construction. With the FY 24, which is 4 renovations, new construction FY 24 is a total of 27, and so the construction hasn't started. We weren't able to add any there because we had to modify the contract. Since we modified the contract, 7 were new construction in progress, complete. I'm on page 8, sorry. I'm trying to give him time to do his side. New construction in progress, complete, but we're waiting on electric hookups, or 9 of them, and we did do turnkey of 17. And then you'll see the veterans housing data, which was as of 10/31/2024, which have not updated, which is my fault. I do apologize. And we do have For male, I'm sorry to go back there. For male, we have 103, for female 33. And then the council delegates per home, which we had presented before. To the committee of each of the council delegates, Ms. Curley, 21, Mr. Arvizo, 14, Ms. Simonson, 10, Mr. James, 10, Mr. Nez, 8, Mrs. Parrish, 7, Mrs. Newton, 6, Mrs. Yazzie, 6, Mr. Nez, 5, Mr. Slater, 5, Mr. Gay, 5, Ms. Prati, 4, Ms. Anita, 4, Mr. Tolt, 4, Mr. Daniels, 4, Mr. Nota, 4, Mrs. Claw, 4, Mr. Yazzie, 3, Mr. Begay, 3, Mr. So, 3, Mr. Johnson, 2, Mrs. Yazzie, 2, Ms. Jesus, 1, and Mr. Simpson, 1. With that instead, we have been building homes on both the ARPA and the Veterans Trust Fund. We've been using both of them to make sure that we have all of our veterans get into their home. The only, as we've all said, the big issue is the home site lease. And to get our veterans into their home in a timely manner is the utility hookup and the water hookup, because our homes are turnkey, meaning that the water has to be hooked up and the electric has to be hooked up. If they're living off grid, we are looking into solar and system for those for individuals. And with that instead, I will turn it over to Mr. Ness. Just
Again, good morning, Yadish and Ida Nosinigi. Again, like Ms. Teller had said, my name is William Nez. I don't mention again, I'm a touch you, and Ogden Nadabash's chin. I should have said, oh, he clean it as another I see a shadow in a kind of Dego. I'd like to go over some numbers with you all as part of our report. In new construction, right now, we have a total of 67. Okay, and then of the male that are in progress right now for construction is 47. For female veterans, we have a total of 20, and that total together is 67. We also completed homes and waiting utility connection for the infrastructure. We have 8 that's waiting for male, and then for female, we have 4. For a total of 12 that are waiting utility constructions. The turnkeys that have already been completed, we have a total of 15 males that have received their homes and 3 females for a total of 18. Now, one of the things that I know it'll probably be questioned is the 2 that are remaining hookups within the Eastern Agency, To'achale. The first veteran is that we had a meeting on August 15th with the Bureau of Indian Affairs, Land Department. And there, one of the problems that we were facing is that this particular veteran didn't have a home site lease. So again, in that meeting, we had concluded that what we were gonna do is we were gonna do a letter requesting for an exception to the rule. Exception to the rule, meaning that they were gonna go ahead and connect the electric. And again, I did send the letter to the Bureau of Indian Affairs. They want a minor wording added to that particular letter, saying that Veterans Administration is gonna help this veteran with the probate. Now, again, this particular home site lease has to be probated. So then we'll be making the initiative to move forward with any assistance that we can for that particular veteran. The second one there is also waiting utility connections. The contractor has paid the utility company, Continental Divide. In there, again, the work is remaining to be done by the utility company. So again, we're working on updates on that to make sure that they're following through on their part.
I'm sure that they have their own schedules, so again, we fall somewhere within that scheduling for the utility company to complete their work. One of the main things that we are working on right now is we're working with, and then overall throughout the Navajo Nation, we are working with 3 utility companies. That would be Sparrow, Swift, and Bitco. Again, we're averaging the utility infrastructure connections from these utility companies ranging from 2 months to 10 months. Again, these timeframes vary based on the availability of supply chains. So again, we're making the initiative to work with these utility companies, and we're hoping that we can get some help from the Resource and Development Committee to actually do a resolution to kind of speed up the utility connections on with NTUA. Again, NTUA, their timeframes are a bit longer for water and electricity, given that they have 2 separate departments and 2 separate right-of-ways that they have to work with. So again, that's causing a drag in and a concern, given that we do face some challenges to kind of push them along. One of the things that has been brought to my attention is that in the central agency, there are 2 veterans who are awaiting utility connections. However, they went ahead and passed on without receiving utility connections and without having to move into their homes. And so it's very important to us that we kind of prompt NTUA to actually move forward. And so again, if we're looking for any type of help from RDC to assist in that. As well, there is one veteran who's in a nursing home, and again, we're waiting connections on his home, and the only way that he can be released is if he gets any type of utility and water connection. We don't want to see this veteran not see his home or not have the ability to move into his home. So again, that's one of the challenges that we're facing when it comes to in NVA working with the utilities as well as with our contractors to get these homes get these veterans into their homes. So again, that concludes my particular report, but thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. With that, how many minutes?
2 minutes and 47 seconds.
2 minutes before the 2 seconds, we're waiting the rest of the time, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor.
So with that, may I get a motion and a second, committee members? Motion made by Honorable Farida Hassan, do I have a second? Second, committee member, Honorable Vice Chair, with that, let me go to the question, and first one is Honorable Farida Hassan.
Good morning, Anna. So I had. So and even as I ended up, and I agree with what David said about that, and because this reflects on the extra department and what we can present to our chapters when they ask for it. So we're not just throwing numbers out there, that way they know that this is all we get, and this is what we have to work with. So my question right here would be, the first page, you guys put the number of homes per delegate, I on the A. And there's another one that take away on here. Number of homes to take away, so I don't know what we mean by that, but that would be my question. And then another thing is that about 2 weeks ago, I was called by an individual from Cuba. So I went to go out there and I visit the home, they said that home was delivered and back in June or July. And, I think it's September. And it's not set up to where they can even walk in or anything, they haven't given the keys yet or nothing. So, and, I looked inside the house, I mean, I just through the windows. So, and I took some pictures and that, and even inside the house, I found that they haven't even put everything out yet. Still sitting in the living room. So, and, these guys are still living in a crowded home. With their veteran. So, I show them, follow up with them because they don't know what's going on. And please, again, I ask, be nice to the babies, to the family. I show them. They don't need to be treated the way you guys see them get treated. When they went to service, they were yelled at. But when they were in service, they were told what to do. Which I was from the hospital, she lost life. And then for them to get this kind of treatment, when they come home. I don't really. I mean, just think how we were raised when we went to boarding school. But then I went. Uncle, what they were telling me. When town, are now able to. On the yard, the foundation, 5 people, and only the people not of us. Other than sure. They give us the information. The only information what we got from the person that they put that home. Should we? So when I took pictures of that and I made that comment to them. So that's trying to be nice to me. I mean, wherever you go, you gotta be nice to our veterans and you can fight. They got me to go she don't want her. Father, she not go on fishing in the yard and all that, that's just how the veterans have. Which are veterans not like that, we hurt their feelings. And they need that more, that's respect and that's. For that children. And, not so late. Or don't you think I'm gone? No way, they need not, I sure that's silly. I mean, you're not gonna be there for 24 hours. You're gonna only be there for about 2 hours to be with me. So, here's the update they need, because this family don't know what's going on and what's gonna happen again next. We're still waiting for their power, their water line extension, and I don't know if they even apply for anything. They said they went for EPA and all that, but follow up on those good things. It's supportive to the elders, our veterans out there. So I'm huge with Uncle. I have pictures of them and I don't wanna state their name or anything right now, but if we want to, we can talk, Okay, well, I my. On my listing, I only have 5. So I made Taylor, so we have a lot of difference out there. I'll do it, the amount of money you guys are getting, we should be serving. It should be equal to, distribution across. Council. I said that from the beginning, and I will always state that again. So and the events, and your policy, is so you can. But in the spot, it's on the house. I'm not going to watch it either on the so they still don't have a home. And we can't provide that home to them, they have to be here and that their parent left. It's too bad that their dad left, their mother left. When she got in the hospital, another hospital. Honored that treatment that was deserved, that wasn't given to them. So to this day, I'm the Chinga, I'm the one that got them. My mother, I'm the Chinga, I'm the extra, I'm the same. This, the high from shutdowns, and someone's just, so yours up. Well, but I go on that home that I've seen, then I've seen more veterans home. The other day I was driving home, I saw one part in front on top of the hill by outside of Fiesta. And I looked at it and I'm like, that's a veterans home. I said, who joined it? Like, somebody got listed, that's how they got. So, yeah, they're working on. Even nothing shows and stuff, and nothing should be that with that, helping the family, but what as a reason, so reasons. Then the process, if I can share with that.
Yeah, thank you with that. So with that, we'll move on to honorable document.
Yes, thank you, Chair. To community for presenting before my first question is for supervision directors. My second question is, in previous presentations, we've heard from the Sparrow Group, and I've noticed that they're also not listed on the updated material that you've given us as far as the contractors, so we can spend a little time there. My third question is, do you anticipate spending all of the funds obligated to you by September 2026? And my last question is, the vehicle company still hauling from North Dakota? Thank you, Chair.
Yeah, thank you with that. So I'll go ahead and give the time back over to the presenters to respond.
Okay.
Okay, Honorable Nez from Shekinah Ash. I've been informed that Ms. Baldwin had 2 delays in returning to the office. I guess her flights have been delayed. So again, she's still on her way back from Phoenix. She flew back into Phoenix. So again, that's an update and reason, that's the reason why she's not here to personally present. So I didn't get the other 2 questions. I believe that Ms. Teller did receive those questions, and I'll have her answer those ones. Thank you.
Good morning, Honorable, Helena Nez. To your first question with a veteran getting a home back in July, once the homes are set, we want to make sure that, inside, there's another group that comes in that does the interior side of the home. Putting the home together and making sure, drywalls and all of that is put together once the home is landed. Once that is done, they do the infrastructure, meaning the utilities is where we really do have a hold up on. We could get a home done even stick quote quickly, but it's when it comes to NTUA and the water line is where we're really having a lot of setbacks on. We really have been asking for assistance. We do communicate with NTUA, we communicate with the contractors back and forth to see how we can move this along forward in a timely manner. That's where a lot of our hiccups are. We do advise veterans not to go to the home until we do the final inspection, which is the Navajo Nation Veterans Housing Program, which is the program manager, executive director, sometimes myself will go out there to make sure that the home is able to be livable. And if we see a little bit of mishaps on it, we'll tell the contractors will come back out to make sure that those homes are up to par for our veterans to move in before we give the key to them. And then for Dr. Inez, the Sparrow Group are under the Veterans Trust Fund. That's not the ARPA funding. And then we do know that we will spend under the ARPA funding by September 2026. We're working with the contractors. We're making sure that everything moves along in a timely manner. So we've been keeping in contact. We've been having weekly meetings with the contracts every Friday with the Sparrow Group and BITCO. we'll get a quarterly report from from the Southwest, so that's how far we have gone. And yes, the homes are still being delivered from Mexico. Thank you.
I'd like to comment on, and respond back to Honorable Delegate, Alina Nesbitt. About the communication. We are working on the communication gap between the veterans as well as VA and the veterans. So at each agency veterans meeting, we do give updates. And we do meet with the veterans who do come there, as well as the VSEO meetings. We're also providing training. And then I'm working on eliminating that communication gap personally with my housing specialists to meet with their veterans who are receiving homes, or if they require any updates. Again, I'm making sure that we are eliminating that communication gap for Ibn Danish people. This has been addressed before, and again, I am bringing it to light to make sure that my housing specialists touch base with each of their veterans. So again, we are working on that. Yeah, Shinda.
All right, so the secretary will respond. All right, so now let me go back to Honorable Goldberg.
Thank you, Chair. Federal Committee, all this was, we still having problems with veterans organization overall. I'm gonna give you a grade, it's gonna be D minus. I'll tell you why. Okay, and the record is not here. And I asked the chair, what can you do? The director is, I understand she's in Hawaii. Like to have her come before the committee. Why is she up there? Well, budget's being heard. Now with these housing issue, it equal should be funding over today, not punishing. She has 6-digit salary. She should be answering to this file. So, without I don't think. I don't understand any changes about it, actually, nobody had. Okay, they are record. So right now. Speaker has 21 veterans, some has 8 and 7. So. How is this determined? One of the full answer, how was this determined? Was there more veterans in Western area? How did you collect this information? I know we have a lot of veterans in Eastern Falls. So this housing issue was your plan, I feel. That's what I see. You go to this agency, or you're not rejected. Somewhere you gotta have a solid plan. My gosh, my son, you know. Why can we have at least 5 to 10 homes for all agency? Most of what we kind of smell. I cannot say that. All agency income distribution and the option. I'll call. You pressure those agencies to have veterans apply for these. We need to redo the housing. Yeah. The qualification says homeless. I don't like that idea. Homeless. The trouble that you need is a lot, so. It's a lot, so that it's calm. That should be indicated. The United States government. Under the Bible. Look at from me. The well, she can't while they are being local, some people told me.
That's all the training. Agora a gente é calção, né? Traditional ceremony being done. Aí carras, aí that aí o plano, eu acho, or the don't usually go inside, that's the way she, that individual was truly to kill. It's number one in the mind. You will obey me, no matter what. Go and need see that. Goes into your mind, they clean you out for that. Okay, well, guess a lot, so. So, you have to be nice to them. No matter what, they, get mad at you. There's a way to calm down, calm them down. They all gets a lot, so. I'll let go of the ninja will be tight. They got those cheap. But they hate this a lot, so. They thought it was in case, but the gay could be. Now, when that's condo. They bought them some. Alcohol. CBO and Chair Oak, and they're complaining. Oh, one of those concerns that I have for you guys is, we need a better plan for our veterans housing program. Reevaluate the only. How can you, start planning for that training? So. Swift Dole, Fanzago, to my understanding, only about 50 miles radius. Fanza, the extender, how many homes? Spiral, well, we go I-40 years ago, that was past me, or I passed it. I don't know which direction they're going. A clean car, I can see a muddy road, a muddy vehicle. I don't know. The most important is floor plan. 1 bedroom floor plan, 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom. Remember, Navajo Nation is paying the contractor, so who should be in charge? Navajo Nation. A lot of these contractors wanted their way, taking a shortcut. You don't know. Are you there every day? I don't think so. So they take a shortcut to spending their time trying to build a veteran's home. Even you should be in charge and telling these contractors, I want it this way. The veteran wants this way, not you. Because you know what they didn't. That's helping the veterans communicate with these veterans. I said, oh, Lord, I know, man, you're not man. Oh, sure, yeah. You have vehicle too. They like to see. Road plan is very important, controlling. Daily, we check on these houses. Why does it take so long to build things? Oh. Let me tell you, today, whose mistake was that? The former employee made a mistake, you just let her go. She's the one that displaced all the two ladies in the other areas too. When she turned her resignation, you didn't check her work. It's not you, it's the Department of Veterans. So you went into a bind now. You were forced to build a house, spiral, contractor. They're doing an awful job too, why? You see it, I see it, I go there, I check every now and then. Still there. That you let this individual go. Home, your trustee, even now it's son. When you want to let that person go, you're supposed to keep a look at your job, see where they're at.
If they haven't done the job, then you. Well, that's I mean, it didn't happen, you just let them go. Now you do, that's what, I've been getting the email, text from those ladies every day. I'm still home, I'm still with my family. So. Although you need to do inspection on this house. So, yeah, when you bring your beddings to the site. You should use and practice area. He doesn't like an area. Give it back to the contractor. They don't get after this for kids by the company. So, like I say, you should, an nation should be in charge of the contract. They don't want to comply, fire them, There's another company that can do the job. Oh, yeah. And it says the other one too, you haven't started the renovation. Who's the company gonna do the renovation? How many agency apply for house renovation? I'd like to see that. The number of. They need to. Okay, side is Savannah. So you guys do a lot of work. You have computers, you have transportation, and you got the resources. I don't want you guys to say, well, we're busy, you know? I don't communicate with the veterans, just like I said. It's a lot, so we'll skip. Go outside música. Vai, Rotinho. E vai começar a imaginar. The director of the security. So. Ele finish procurou. I should be underneath. Somehow we should start working on the plan. Now you give this plan, yeah, this idea of information. Next time we call you, I should have different information. The same information they gave me since the last meeting, so. Nothing has been changed. I've shown that. Somebody's better go get the Kelly money check out. Then. Or they use 75 cents to conduct me, or $75 per meeting. So, okay, I 8 to 5. You should need a vehicle, you have a good benefit, you got good dental care and all that. These veterans 85. But I got your 5. This past weekend, Jack is one of the veteran, elderly veteran. The wife, 10-7, passed on. Now he is, asking for assistance. What about that? Even it's a lot so on how to use we promised him. Or the legal show, if we know we communicate, we don't take care of it. We don't look at their situation. What about our change? It is a benefit. As shown that work. They only going to get started with second information. Like I said, next time we meet, I expect new information, not the same one. Oh, they completely got there when you not, I want to hear that. This individual has electric, connected or connection. That's what I like to hear. You don't have to respond back to me, but this is my concern. You know I'm a veteran. Street. But I do Bible there. don't. On my hope, said they were against each, you know. But she has not done. It's lots of. Those are on sea kiss. It's in my heart, I tell you, I come from military people. Chicago, World War II, Marine War, you got wounded. You know, my relatives were in the Marine Army and Navy, so I'm coming good. I can share tears for my veterans any day. Because they served this country and our own nation. Okay, so, thank you, Chair.
Yeah. Honorable call for that, I'd like to go back to the visitors. Response.
Chair Shinandai, Mr. Toth. Thank you for sharing your concerns with Navajo Veterans Administration. Duly noted, we went ahead and wrote down your concerns and we'll make the initiative to improve our services to the veterans. Michelle, what that audition? No. Again, yes, our director did go to Hawaii, but there are things that are beyond her control to return. She was planning on being here, but due to the delays, I believe that there was a hurricane that was going in that direction that caused. The some of the things are beyond our control. Friday and dawn, I don't need because I had some family emergencies to attend to. I need so again, that's the reason why she's not here. And again, I did inform you all that we are working on improving, especially the communication gaps with the CDOs, as well as our veterans. That's one of my main control as a program manager. And one of the things is that what happened before I came, I have no control over. So the former housing specialist did make many mistakes that I'm correcting to today. So again, I'm making the initiative to smooth over the rough edges, improve our working relationship with all the veterans. And again, that's first on my priority list. And again, duly noted again, we are working on that, and that's my number one thing that I'll be focusing, my number one goal. So again, I'll turn this over to Elvira to go over the numbers on the renovation. And just to give you an insight on the renovation is that the contract is still going through the 164 process. We are looking forward to actually having that in place within the new fiscal year that's coming up after October 1st. And again, when it comes to selecting veterans, there is a criteria. I mentioned this in each of the meetings that I meet with the veterans. There is an eligibility criteria. These individuals have to meet that eligibility criteria. Council, so if there's any changes that needs to be made to that, it needs to go back before council. One of the main things is that these veterans be homeless. So so again, one of the criteria is homeless, and then has to have a DD 214 with 180 days service, has to have a Navajo CID, and then all the other, an approved home site lease. Home site lease. So then within the home site lease, you also have to have different archaeological studies, biological studies, and a plat drawing. If the criteria in Hawan pada hidit ato pada ne kotin kisalam Salah Fondas, I'll have, Ms. Teller go over the numbers of the renovations. Thank you.
Good afternoon, fellow delegates. For the renovation, we do have 219 in total with veterans and surviving spouses that are on the list for renovation. We have 147 male veterans, 17 females, which equals to 164 for veterans. For surviving spouse renovation, we have 55 on that area. And then for the questions of who's waiting for the home, for utilities, it's in the report. We are waiting for 12 veterans, for utility hookups. Once the utilities are hooked up, they'll be turnkey. Turnkey is when we grant a home to a veteran. So this far, we have granted 18 veterans to get into their new home. We do have 67 under, in construction right now, indicating that if the home is there, interior are being set, we're waiting on utilities, so mainly our held up is the utility part. So if we were able to move forward with the utility part, we'll be able to get more veterans into their home. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, for the response. With that, committee members, are there any other additional comments? Not more, you need to?
Yeah, girls. I think that I'm concerned about Utah. Because Utah has an unequal, Utah found that whole. And then, the surviving spouse and those starting mothers. And I see there's only 4 recipients. She must be set up 3, and then I have 1 from. And what happened to Tees, Sweetwater and Mexican Water? With all such a related Jake with all the way, Neville Mountain Show. I see, Urban Daniels only got 4 too. Most of these on Shantou area, that's Arizona. All these recipients, it sounds like it's all from, it has to be resident of Arizona. Is that your criteria? They quite on this people. And then I got a lot of response from the surviving spouse of Anglo Coast Guard. Jailhouse they need you, I know. So they're not eligible, then they got them. So that's my concern with the Utah residents. And then with Tees area, I know which side these recipients are residing on, Utah or Arizona. Being on the issue of it, and then I like to have names of individuals who's, on the listing. It didn't necessarily those because I get a lot of calls from other veterans, just Kai, I report them in, the people they tell Kai is, but I get no response from the executive director. So, ADD, I'm asking for all the Utah veterans, all the way up to Landing, all the, there's Westwater and Landing, I'm looking over that, they're under N area. I know there's an N on here, all one at the top, and then all 4, there's no females. If I not get yeah. Sure.
Yeah, thank you with that, Honorable Benito. So with that, let me go to Honorable Vice Chair.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Teller, your colleague here for your report. I know that when this report first came out and it appeared that Central had the bulk of the numbers. I remember the explanation being that more people were ready in terms of eligibility in that region, meaning that a lot of applicants had or maybe got assisted in getting their home site. And so that was the reason that, you know, we ended up with a large number because a lot of our applicants were ready and they were prepared to receive homes. So I remember that explanation and, you know, then of course our Central Veterans Organization was very adamant about us central delegates in advocating to keep that same list there because they felt like they worked really hard to get their veterans prepared. So if that's the issue, then you know how maybe our veterans agency can provide that training to other agencies to how to get their veterans prepared to receive, you know, these homes because that is part of that eligibility. So I think we need more of that assistance out there. And however way they did it, their success story, because that is a large number that was going to Central. But in any case, the NCUA issue, have you presented before RDC? Have you gone before RDC would be my question. Two, who do you work closely with NCUA? And also I'm trying to, you know, your advocacy is good, but now you're up against all the other shit homes that are going out. And there's, you know, I think at this point, to say that you should be priority is gonna be difficult because there are homes out there being set up for maybe elderly, you know, really, people who have been, you know, are severely in need. And so how do you then start weighing out, you know, how does the QA then start weighing out who's more important? And that seems to be a challenge for all of us here as delegates every day. You know, people come to us to say that they should be more important as well as programs and departments and, you know, it's hard to really favor or pick. It's like asking a mother to pick a favorite child, you know, it's really difficult. So, I just need to know then, if you're working with NCUA, but also there are a lot of, well, I shouldn't say a lot, but there's nonprofit organizations out there that do the solar. And I'm wondering if I mean, that could be a temporary, you know, fix. I know that getting on solar requires someone to really take a look at their energy consumption and it even limits the energy consumption. So, but maybe with those homes that don't need so much electrical appliances, I know some folks depend on oxygen, medical equipment, and certainly those should have access to, you know, adequate electrification. But then there's some who probably use minimal electric, so how can we work with them to set them up with solar so that at least they have access to some of their electric use while they're waiting for you know, the line. So those will be some of my questions and I'll leave at that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Vice Chair, and so that really quickly, I just want to say. For me, I just want to know your expenditure rate. How much dollars have you spent on this wonderful programs? We could sit here all day and talk about agency or delegate region and so and so, we have all our opportunity. And so, right now, I just really want to know how much money you have not spent on veterans. Because you know that hardship is coming up, we have a deadline that's coming up. And so, will you be able to utilize and use all that funding? Because somewhere in the next few months, we're gonna have to do a deadline as council. We just have to do a deadline, we can't continue to play the game as, you know, we don't have enough staff, well. Somebody's in Hawaii, somebody's doing this, there's no more time to go. So it's just a matter of how much have you guys spent, and are you able to spend all the dollar amount that, the dollar amount that has been given to you? And when are you gonna spend all of that dollar amount? That's where I'm at. And that's a little concern for me, because again, we could ask OMB and the controller to provide us a report on your expenditure dollar amount, how much you spent out this morning, but I guess since you're here, I see you and see where you are at when you're spending it. Because like I said, you only have a few more months to spend on our money. So that's where it's at. Another one is that we just got notification last week, I think it was. In regards to FRS staff moving back to the old airport building. Because things are happening between the division director, Kansas Valley, and staff, and just a lot of issues going in between them, not working along, working together. They wanna say, you know, me, I did better, or we did better, or they wanna take the credit, that's what it is. And division director Kansas Valley is playing for her political games, so her staff has ended that agreement with the FRF staff to move back to the airport. And so in regards to that, I don't know when we will get updated information regarding the ship holiday. And then also the bathroom addition, because you can't get both of them. And so the veterans need to know that. And if you got a bathroom addition completed, then don't think you're gonna get a home. And there's many people out there that are in need of homes. And so, again, within the budget that we approved, each veteran is gonna get a little bit over $1,600 as well. But yet, I always say that Now Information does a better job in the federal Veterans Administration providing to our veterans, but yet we sit here and still complain about how our now veterans are treated. When we should be taking those concerns and issues to the federal level. At the federal level, what are they doing for our veterans? What are you guys doing for our veterans? Why aren't you building the homes for our veterans, for our now veterans at the federal level? Again, there's a lot of things that we could go around and around on, but I really wanted to know about your ARPA money. Because we have the ARPA funding policy that the Honorable Dr. Nez had good legislation with, so there's an outline in that. And so again, where are you guys at? Spending and making sure that all those funds are spent within the next few months. With that, Honorable Dr. Nez.
Yes, thank you, Jack. So just a couple of follow-up. The first one is, I'm not sure I got the messages, so I attended the Central Agency Veterans Council meeting in Forest Lake. And there I learned that one of the areas our veterans are seeing as well is that they don't qualify to apply because their names are not first on the home site. And their names are second, where primary is the size. And so I did some insight and I was trying to see if I can pull up copies of it, but basically, if I stand corrected, maybe you guys have learned since then, like the information here, but it's basically the land department said they can swap the names. And so, I mean, it's still entitled to the same, very helpful way, but I don't know if there's that kind of discrepancy that you guys continue to see, and if that's something that perhaps you can start to train our veterans on how to just move so that the head of household is actually a veteran. Or amend your own policy to where you recognize that they don't have to do an extra step. Because it's, I don't know, there's so many steps that we have to do some of the most simplistic things for our now, which is unfortunate, but I know that if that's something that you can consider, because I think you guys are amending your policy now, and that's something to take into consideration. The other thing is, I think just as far as, the information received, and this is all just formatting stuff, but for me, it's just easier, like you guys don't have, numbers. And I noticed that you go to, I put in my notes here, I was gonna ask about renovations, but I'm like, that has nothing to do with ARPA housing fund. And I was gonna ask why you were using that 5 million for that, but it's actually under the BTF housing, according to this. So you go through each of your ARPA, your BTF, and then you go back into ARPA, identifying the individuals that are listed under the ARPA housing. So I think just as far as a little more structure, so that my colleagues and myself are kind of following along on where the numbers are and some of the identifications that are provided for your report. So I just wanted to know those things, and then just also acknowledge what came out of my participation. Thank you, Chair.
Yeah, thank you. With that, on roll call.
Thank you, Chair. I will follow the regular conditions, Chair. Given the administration there is some sensitive that is here also. I'd like to know where the renovations at those. Does it have a number on the one that you said, it's in 164? You can trace it down where it's at, you can help you to speed up. This has been quite a while. We'd like to know how many people buy it. You just mentioned, it's in 164 and that, so we'd like to see that information. Although home positioning, you really need to research that. Just to launches in that budget. Just don't blame on the, I know the criteria of what. You don't know me if I come to you as a veteran. What do you do after that? Let's say I'm staying at somebody's house. Do you go there, investigate, or do you just look at the application? So there's a way to define that, or we do the whole thing. Usually, how do you define veterans homeless? Usually, you can define that you don't want associated only homeless. Yeah, that can be a man where veteran has a chance. Certain items that you would have to educate the veterans. This is why your application, you can reconsider it by changing our law. Or rules and whatever, it can be done. Answers now able to be in his children. So, I don't really know how to say. On side of it, then. What gives you thought to say this for not homeless? Okay, so there you go. So any issue that once before you mentioned, that does it have a number or is it proposal? We'd like to see that within 20 days. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Toll. With that, we may move time back to work with the presenter.
Chinandai, Mr. Yanito, your concerns about the Utah, why the numbers are very low. We go by who applies. But I have a recommendation and a solution for that, and I'm gonna work towards that is, I'm gonna see if we can, have a, application drive within Utah. And I understand that there are some veterans way out there in, Westwater. power line project when session so I am aware of that. So again, I'll be working on getting application drive within the Utah. That way we can say as veterans that we went out there, we made the initiative, we touched base with the Utah Navajo and we educated them. One of the things that I also want to let the HES committee know is that I finalized the PowerPoint presentation for housing. And I was able to provide that housing presentation in Kienta. I think we hit the western that portion first, but we still need to hit Tuba City in that area for the western again. But we started off with that, and I'm finding that a lot of veterans, when you explain it to them in Navajo, they understand it a lot more. So some of our personnel have a difficult time speaking Navajo, so I took it upon myself to explain the criteria to them in Navajo. And one of the things that you touched up on is why isn't surviving spouse and Gold Star mothers eligible for a brand new home? That's listed in the criteria as well. If they be one banda is allowed if we had a lot of money and if we had the criteria changed, we could serve surviving spouse and Gold Star mothers with homes. But again, we're at this point, we're unfortunate to do that. But it does resonate in my mind that these are important people as well. So I'll be working towards some solutions as they come about if they're available. So that's my answer to you, Shanandai, Mr. Yanito. One of the things also is that it's a very important point that was brought up by Shanandai, Ms. Simonson. You had mentioned that a lot more training is required, and then I just addressed that just now. Again, we would like to be first on the priority list, even before CHIP, but again, I know that this lies within their own, I guess, planning with NQA. Sometimes we're not the first on the list. I'm now working on to address that solar, is that I'm working on a request for proposal to see if we can get businesses. We did meet with one called Big Navajo Energy a couple weeks ago, and they expressed interest in providing solar services. But again, in getting that set in place, we also, first of all, have to have money set aside for that. We also have to have eligible businesses that are able to bid for those and provide the proposals to us. So I am working on that. That is in the works. I'm glad you brought that up. Thank you, Ms. Simonson. And then I'll have Elvira cover the ARPA funding and what's remaining. And we every day work towards the initiative of spending all the money. Based on Shijeta, so the I need aids for basic chadot, so the other chadot, if you eat out but I'll have her go over the numbers for you. And then again, and then Mr. Nez also talked about why is it that the name has to be first on the home site lease. We would like to give each of our veterans the benefit of the doubt. Now that veterans, the KDA, it's not tech you no, they need to go home, but no, and they get a divorce. We would like to have that home site lease of that veterans first. That way he gives the potential of receiving that home, because we build homes with the intent that the home is for the veteran, and that the veteran is gonna receive the home if something like that should happen. So again, we're hoping in again for the best chances of the veteran remaining within the home. So again, that's one of my requests on the amendment of the housing policy. There's a number of things that I'm looking at, making sure that it's amended to support and help our veterans go that. So again, I have the listing of that. And so then Mr. Toth also talked about, oh, I already addressed his concern, but I'll turn to the floor over to Ms. Teller to go over the numbers of the remaining ARPA dollars. Thank you.
Thank you, committee member. Right now, it is on page 2 of what the ARPA drawdown is. We do have, $9,806,039.10 as a balance with the withdrawal from the ARPA funding from the 50 million. Yes, we do plan on expending that. We are waiting on our one contractor actually that, we're working with to make sure that, we do get, we are gonna expend that. So they're working on their end, moving forward. So when report comes back to us, then we know how much is expected. So they usually update us bi-weekly, and we just got a quarterly report from them. So with the ARPA funding, yes. Mr. Woody, I'm sorry to go back to you really quick here. We did work with the Utah, within the Utah area. We did try to partnership together. It's just that they had different criterias of how that they're gonna build home for each of their veterans. So we kind of had, this was back in 2023 or 24, when we had tried to work with the Utah to make sure that we're able, it's just that they had their own criteria compared to our criteria. And we did, do a lot of housing education within the area to make sure that all of our veterans are understanding and that we sit down one-on-one with them to make sure that we understand. When we first started, there wasn't a lot of education that was done. I know all of our housing specialists have been going out to agency, either agency meeting or CDO meetings to educate their veterans of what is needed. The one hinder that we still have is home site leases. And with the home site leases, we do understand that the archaeology and the bio, they are expensive depending on who you are hiring. That's where some of the holdup is for a lot of our veterans. But moving forward, we do try to assist them in the best way that we can. I know our housing specialists have been working hard with each of their veterans to make sure that they're able to get their home site lease and educating them and getting their name on top. And Ms. Simonson, Honorable Simonson, I do work with each of the district within each HUA, depending on who the project manager are within the utilities. So within all the districts, I do speak to either a manager or whatever project director within HUA for us to assist one another to see where those HUA construction is. And the contractors do come in place and they do communicate with HUA to see how far the utility construction are coming about. And then let me see, what else do I have? And I believe that's it. And then if we are not able to connect them into our utilities, we do have solar. We did have one veteran that was connected with solar and system with a Fort Collins agent because utilities wasn't near them or it was gonna cost them a little bit more. And I believe that's it this far. Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you very much. So with that, we do have a motion that will favor ongoing women as engaged and looking for our vice chair. With that, are there any other questions? With that, I'm feeling ongoing. You know how you look, great. Honorable Dr. Honorable Dr. Ness, Honorable Vice Chair.
Great.
Honorable Linda Gage.
Great.
So with that, we do have 4 in favor, and 0 opposed, and 2 not voting, that includes Honorable Bolton and myself. Again, thank you very much for the updated information. Yes, one of the requests was to keep you on the agenda, so we'll let you know when you'll need to provide another update to us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. day, have a blessed week. Moving on to item number C, update report on Office of Updating Advice and Information, which is legislation number 0195-4. An action related to the Law and Order Committee and the Health Education Service Committee approving related to the Now Foundation Child Support Guidelines and Child Support Schedule. And so that, committee members will leave this up to you again. It is also on. Never mind. I thought it was another old business, but this is one. Okay, so with that. So with that, I will give you the floor. So on Wednesday, September 4th, has been tabled the legislation for 90-day legislation was approved in the Department of Justice and Department of Child Support Enforcement. Within the Napa Division of Human Resources to assess the affordability and update the bill session from the EFT committee. Conduct public hearings on each Navajo agency within the time frame. And then on January 2025, an update was provided. The public hearings were conducted, reviewing the public hearing comment evaluation, the changes in child support guidelines will proceed. April 28th, updates to provided guidelines were being reviewed and refined. And so with that, you should provide us a report on the promise of updating and revising this information from legislation number 0195-4. So that we do have presented of the Division of Human Resources, Ms. Toddy, Ms. Denali, then Ms. Otero, and then Department of Justice. We do have Mr. Snyder and then Ms. Anderson here as well. So with that, I will go ahead and give you the floor. I think we'll go first. Minutes, but updated revising information to legislation number 0195-. And I believe committee members, we just now received a little packet here or in regarding the legislation 0195-24. It has an updated letter information here, as the resolution, the legislation that's there. And then the meeting rules. Committee, Law and Order Committee. There committee documents there, and the public hearing information and past to read. And for the work done, and then tab 4 is the worksheet of the breakdown. And then tab 5 is in regards to another letter on the written report that was done on July 11th, 2025. And so again, there is a PowerPoint presentation that is attached to tab 5. So data that's attached then to the packet that will be provided to us. So with that, presenters, the floor is yours. Your 20 minutes begins.
Good afternoon, Honorable Vince James, Chairperson of the Health, Education, and Human Services Committee, as well as the honorable members of the HES Committee. As Chair James indicated, we are here to present legislation number 0195-24 regarding the approval of amendments to the Navajo Nation Child Support Guidelines and the salary schedule. And we are requesting your favorable consideration and approval because we do feel that that this legislation will benefit all of your constituents as well as individuals on the Navajo Nation who, are receiving services through the, Department of Child Services. I'll go ahead and, turn the time over to the department manager, Judy Patero.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Honorable members of the Health, Education, Human Services Committee. Thank you very much for having us here at your session. And what I will do, siya sa inspirational kaya ani pa siya lalo na kayo siya chilo sa natin siya na tayo sa natin. May goya de iya ale siya famo ko to kind of shish come kissing friends that okay, so I have a memo here, that's addressed, to Honorable Vince James. My correction on that one, I got one little letter that's in made a big difference. It says advice because, so issue, I will correct that and bring that, correction. It's actually being done right now. So this is regarding legislation 0195-24. And so on August 29, 24, the HESI had questions about the Department of Child Support Services regarding the amendments to the Navajo Nation Child Support Guidelines, which is Exhibit A that we have attached. And after the Navajo Law and Order Committee reviewed and approved that, HESI had concerns that it directed DCSS to respond to it before it would be approved. And what was recommended by the Law and Order is also attached to. So with the Department of Justice, on August 6, 2024, the LOC made some minor changes to the guidelines prior to approving them. So HESI directed Child Support to have the Navajo Nation Department of Justice review those amendments just to ensure that the guidelines remain legally sufficient. And the Department of Justice reviewed the amended guidelines again, and they found that the amendments made by the LOC did not change the essential or important meaning of the amended child support guidelines. In fact, the LOC amendments merely added examples to the amended guidelines, but did not alter the essentials, which you will see on Exhibit 2, the Law and Order 25th Navajo Nation Council, Law and Order of the 25th Navajo Nation Council with their recommendation. And then we have public hearings, so HESI directed the child support to hold public hearings in order to allow input from the Navajo people. The public hearings took place from October 28, 2024 to November 1st, 2024. And we went to all the 5 agencies to conduct the hearings. The hearings were sparsely attended and produced no substantive changes to the language. DCSS reported that result to those, regarding those hearings to HESI on January 6th. And you will see the written report, tab 3. Then regarding the 20% increase, which was recommended by, the Law and Order Committee, they did make a recommendation to increase the schedule by 20%, which is, also a part of the resolution or the legislation. So HESI on August 29 questioned whether the 20% increase would be affordable for Navajo people, and then directed child support to investigate the affordability of the increase. And DCS, realizing it required assistance in addressing the affordability of the increase in the child support schedule, we sought outside help. We went to Dr. Alicia Murphy, who's an economist with the Division of Economic Development, to adequately address the effect of increasing child support obligations. So on July 24, Dr. Murphy provided her 29-page report titled "At a Glance: Child Support Insights on the Navajo Nation." The report included information from the 2018 and 2014 Comprehensive Economic Development Strategy, plus supplemental data and tribal resources, which is a part of this packet in Exhibit 5. And with, in addition, with the NAVI committee, HESI also directed child support to provide the NAVI committee with orientation to child support services. And despite trying to get on the committee's agenda several times, it didn't happen. So responding to that, HESI modified that request and asked child support for a workshop with HESI. That workshop has not taken place either. So based on this information regarding the public hearings and also the at-a-glance child support insights on an affirmation, DCSA is requesting your favorable consideration and approval of this amended child support. And tab one, of course, like I said, is the legislation 0195-24, and it's an action relating to the Law and Order Committee and the Health, Education, and Human Services Committee approving the amendments to the Navigation Child Support Guidelines and child support schedule. So that's what we have here, and you have the legislation with the strike throughs and the underlines, and we also attached a copy of the worksheet A that we do, and the worksheet B. Those are used to determine the child support obligation for custodial parent and non-custodial parent. And also have the original, the child support schedule that we have attached as well too. And we attached the exhibit D, which is the 20% increase that was recommended by the Law and Order Committee. That's what you will see. Again, they're stricken over and then underlined for the new amounts. That's what we have attached, and the schedule we always do, it's from $100 if it was a combined income, all the way to $8,000 of combined income, so that's attached. And recommendation by the Law and Order Committee, tab 2, I'm sorry, is the recommendation from the Law and Order, and they have made a few recommendations. Again, these weren't substantial changes, and their recommendation was to add language to page 6 of the guidelines, which is in-kind service, and to add we had indicated a quart of wood firewood. They wanted to add a pallet of wood, pellets, or coal. So those we added with underline. And then also on page 6 as well, added language, which is H, would be ceremonial expenses and or offerings for the child or children. And we removed exhibit D at that time and put in a new exhibit D. The original exhibit D that we had done was a 10% increase to the basic child support schedule. So we inserted the new exhibit D, which is reflecting 20% of the increase to the basic child support schedule. And then also another amendment was on page 2 to add 1996, and after 28 years, it is now vital to make these amendments for the benefit of our NAVI children. And that is what happened at the Law and Order Committee. And in tab 3, you will see the report that we have provided back on January 6th, which is regarding the public hearing comments that we had when we conducted the public hearings at the agency offices from October 28, 2024 to November 1st, 2024. And you'll see the comments that were made at each of the agencies where we did the public hearings. And there was very minimal participants there, although we made radio announcements and posted notices at the chapters and surrounding communities. So very few people have participated, attended. And then tab 4, we have the child support obligation worksheet A, and you will see this one, the first page right here is the 20% increase if we were to use a current minimum wage for the federal minimum wage to determine child support for one child, and that both parties are unemployed, and we imputed minimum wage for both of them.
So, real simplified, again, one child, and we go to the child support, schedule. For one child, it would take, $536 for them to sustain this child at the 20%. And so each party, the mother and the father, would be responsible for $268 each, with parents, if they were unemployed and repeated minimum wage. Then you go to the page behind it, which is the current one we have right now. The current one, again, we use we imputed minimum wage, federal minimum wage for both parties. And I'll go down to the bottom part where it says the child support obligation for both parties. And that comes out to $223.50, so we round up to $224. And you'll see the difference between $268, if if we go with the 20%, increase, and $224. And the difference between that is $22. And I just attached a copy of what we had originally recommended, which was a 10%. If it was a 10% increase, again, using the same computation, it'll be $246. So that's the difference in the current 10%, and then also the recommended 20%. If it were to be computed at minimum wage for both parties. And tab 5, we contacted the Division of Economic Development, Dr. Alicia Murphy, who's the economist, and that's we let her know what we were doing and how we were requested to look into the affordability of the increase of the child support schedule at 20%. And this is what she presented to us. We asked her to be here, been asking her since last week when we found out that we were on the agenda, but we haven't received any response from her. So, but just to be just to let you all know, she did do the research, and this is what they have provided. And I'd like to just share just a few of what she has shared with us. If you go, this is the report on her. If you go to like the charts in the back, starting on page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. She started off with her introduction, of course, and the next page after the introduction, this is the comprehensive economic development strategy that they have done in 2018 and 2024. So she shared this with us, and you'll see the next page is the minimum wage trends. And it shows the federal minimum wage, which is $7.25, and it remains at $7.25 in 2025. Then the next one, she indicated the Navajo Nation minimum wage, but Navajo Nation doesn't have a minimum wage, as you all are aware of. But this is what she had compiled. So I'm not sure exactly where that actually came from. And then the Arizona minimum wage, again, you'll see 2025 is $14.70. In New Mexico, the minimum wage is $12, and the Utah minimum wage is still $7.25 as well. And the Colorado minimum wage is $14.81. These are the wages, minimum wages that are surrounding the Navajo Nation. Okay, so the next page is shows a graph of the minimum wages from 2000 to 2025. And then also the next page where it says median household income. These are what they during their research found that these are the amounts that are determined to be the trend as far as 23, but all into 2023, Navajo Nation at 34K, Arizona at 77K, New Mexico 62K, and Utah at 91K. And then the household and family structure on the Navajo Nation shows this one. I wanted to show this, bring this out again. This is just the compilation that they have made according to like the households. And what I'd like to really concentrate is the demographics on Navajo Nation. And back in 2018, children under 5, it was 7.4%. Ages 5 to 9 was 8.2%. Ages 10 to 14 is 8.7%. Ages 15 to 19 is 8.8%. So the estimated population of children from 0 to 18 was 31.5% at that time. And you'll see the same one again for 5 and under decrease, 5 to 9 decrease as well, 10 to 14 as well decrease, and ages 15 to 19 also decrease. So the estimated population of children from 0 to 18 years also decreased to 28.2%. So this is what they have shared with us, and I'd like to share one more thing, which is back in 2018, the unemployment rate was 57.6% according to this report. And the 2024, the report states that the unemployment rate for Navajo Nation is at 39.9%. This is what we have, will provide to you all at this time for this legislation and the opportunity that you've given to us. We appreciate, and again, we're hopeful that this legislation is adopted so we can move forward with our child support guidelines to work with all our Navajo Nation families and the children. Thank you.
2 minutes and 32 seconds.
I'll just hold the time real quick. So again, we haven't elaborated on what's on the agenda. On April 28th, 2025, and the update was provided. The guidelines were being reviewed and revised. Can you tell us about that? In the last 2 minutes and
32 seconds.
32 seconds.
Thank you, Honorable Chair, Hesse. Regarding your question, we have reviewed the guidelines and made those changes that was recommended. As far as the schedule, we have the 20% that's here, and those are the ones that I indicated were crossed out, they're stricken out, and then they're also underlined. So we're still working with the 20% increase that we have. And then to show the differences in the 20% from the current on tab 4, that's what I'm expressing or showing, demonstrating the difference that would be. So we are finalized from our part as far as the guidelines, the schedule, the amendments that were recommended. Thank you.
So again, I don't know how much time to stop. So is this worksheet, is that your updated guidelines that was being reviewed and revised?
As far as the guidelines, if you look into tab 1, at the back of the pages, this is the recommended schedule. And then also prior to that, we have done our recommendation to the guidelines itself, and that's where we find the strike throughs and the underlines to make those amendments. And this is what we are looking at, is making this the amendments for the child support guidelines and the schedule. Thank you.
Understood.
Ms. O'Hara, I don't think you're answering a question that's on the agenda. This SE committee. So what you have on tab 1 is your original legislation that you had put in place. And we're referring back to Exhibit D. So when you presented this legislation, which was on Wednesday, September 4th, was the 90 days. And then, January sixth was the public hearing. But then on, April 28th, you were, you provided an update or there was a report that was provided an update at that time. It was indicated that the guidelines were being reviewed and revised. So where's that new? And it shouldn't be part of your original legislation. Because on April 28th, when you provide that update, you indicate guidelines were being reviewed and revised. So where's that?
Thank you for the question, and, those, since there was no changes, again, Department of Justice let us know that what was presented is legally sufficient. We're still going by the first, legislation that we had done, but I can surely reprint and provide, that again, as far as the revised, the recommended, amendments to the guidelines and also the schedule.
How many minutes?
27 seconds.
Are you waiting for this for the 27 seconds?
Yes, I'll wait the rest of my time here. Thank you.
All right, with that, committee members, is there a motion or a second?
Motion.
Motion made by Honorable George Toll. The second. Second by Honorable Curtis Uri. Committee members, are there any questions? Going once, going two times, Honorable, okay? Oh,
Yeah.
want me to go to Ned?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, Honorable Dr. Ned?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. So, thank you for the presentation. So, I just have a clarifying question. So does this still, because on the legislation for the proposed, cabling, it identifies Nokia 2. And I know that hasn't happened yet. But I also know the further we're delaying this, the further we're delaying the responsibility of those who are affected, especially the children here under this particular legislation. So I don't know if that's, if I'm in, I don't know if that's legally sufficient to modify that, or does have to carry out or actually doing that here, which I don't know, which I don't understand why it hasn't happened yet. It's a very long time, actually, it's been a year and 4 days since that has happened, and that's before not that it should have gone before at some point. So I just need clarification there. If that's something that Speaker's office is not responding to, or I don't know, I'm not gonna make any assumptions here, but I don't know what the case is, but I guess the question I'm trying to get to is, does that have to be carried out, or can that be modified, or do we just move it and put it on the agenda today and pass it, or I just need some guidance and advice there for clarification. Because I'm ready to vote on the actual legislation. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Going back to Mr. Terrell.
Thank you for that question, and we do see the importance of this legislation for Navajo children and families, and how essential it is for our department staff to be working with this guidelines, because we do work with it daily. As far as asking, presenting to the NAWI, we did make that request, and but I didn't get no response back, and I included our staff here in that request. But if if we still have to present to the NAWI, we can certainly do that. We have our presentation that's available to present at that time too. And it's true,
This is, been going on for quite a while and delaying the new guidelines that we could use for our, child support services. Thank you.
Honorable Vice Chair. So with that, back to you, Honorable Lieutenant.
Oh, just have a question. I just have a question and, I just have a question that, if a parent is working in the state and, this is on the Navajo Nation. So with the absent parent working out in the state and then with the parent that has the children and they apply with the Navajo Nation. More support. Do you guys still go after them even though they're in the state? Is what my question is, and then do you go by this document right here, once we pass it? You know, that's what my question is. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. With that, Mr. Nolan.
Mr. Chair, members of Mr. Chair, members of the Health Education and Services Committee. The legislation number 0195-24 has the legislative council has assigned it to I believe this law and order. Yeah, law and order committee, and then the Health Education and Services Committee, and Health Education and Services Committee has a final authority, is a final authority for this to be a resolution. And I believe that there was a request to have the guidelines itself updated so that it is, it applies to all of Navajo Nation and like Arizona, New Mexico, and Utah. And, looking at the last, and the last committee report from Health Education and Services Committee indicates that the legislation is referred to the Navajo Department of Justice and the Department of Health for enforcement within the Navajo Division of Human Resources to reassess the affordability and to update relevant information to the child support guidelines and child support schedule. And thereafter, to hold a work session for the Navajo Committee and subsequently conduct public hearings at each Navajo agency within the time frame. And that was the table for 90 days. Mr. Chair.
Thank you. So with that, presenters.
Shimon, Hernandez, okay, thank you for the question, and yes, we do. If the non-custodial parent is living in, off the reservation and custodial parent applies, we do take those cases, yes. And in regards to the affordability, and that's why we have turned to Division of Economic Development economists. And the report that she provided, the conclusion, let me just go ahead and, you'll see that on page 3 on tab 5. And her conclusion was that this report has been prepared by the Navajo Nation Division of Economic Development economists and research assistants to provide objective data and background information on demographics and economic conditions relevant to child support on the Navajo Nation. It is intended to support the Navajo Nation to provide child support services in its review of the existing child support payment schedule. No policy recommendations are offered herein, rather the report presents empirical findings to assist policymakers, legal professionals, and tribal leadership in assessing whether current child support structures reflect the socio-economic realities of the Navajo families. For additional data and visual summaries, detailed statistics and key findings are also presented in the attached slide deck.
This information may further support informed discussion at DCSS and leadership consider whether amendments to current policy are warranted to ensure the child support system remain effective, equitable, and responsive to conditions across the nation. And again, this was the economist's conclusion after we had contacted her to help us in the part where they were questioning whether this 20% was affordable. And that is what we got from Dr. Alicia Murphy with Division of Economic Development. Thank you.
Yeah. So, all right, thank you. So in regards to that, how's this being revised? Again, I'm going back to the second question. Your reviewed and revised document, so you did get your economist and all of that, so have you done a new listing on your 10%, 20%? Or, so where's that information?
Since there was no, thank you for your question, since there were no other amendments or any other recommendations regarding this child support guidelines, we don't have that attached to this one, but we do have one that we have created where we again still have the underlines, the strike throughs, and then the schedule that was recommended. We still have that one, but I didn't attach it to this one, because as I noted, there are no changes that we have made from the first original amendments that we have made. There are no changes in that except to add what the law and order recommended, which was all under the in-kind service. But we did include those changes in this legislation in part one of this legislation right here. But they are included, yes. I just didn't attach it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
how we're here.
Okay, but my apologies, I didn't attach that part. Even though we reviewed it and thought that we had everything as a team, we had done that, but I guess that's the part we didn't attach.
Alright. Okay, so we don't have the updated or revised document before us. So committee members, it's up to you if you wanna put this back on the agenda for our next meeting, so that can be provided to us. So just.
New revised
Do I?
one that we already had, but I didn't attach it here. I do have the new one.
Yeah.
And somebody sent it to me.
Just leave it, so just vote on it, still, and just put it back on the agenda for next meeting. Open. Don't all be back as report.
See if it's a.
The changes were made by
There was no changes, but.
Okay,
they want
so with
the new
that,
one.
I guess, we will go ahead and vote on this report and then, we'll also keep it under report. That we get that revised documents that will be attached, at our next meeting. And so with that, I'm going to Ito, how do you vote? Yeah. Honorable read, honorable this, honorable vice chair. Honorable Lena Nasty. So with that, we have 5 in favor, 0 opposed, and chair not voting, and again, we're just waiting for the spot on the agenda. Next on this. That's the meeting. So. any of that. So with that, thank you very much again, Mr. Carroll, Mr. Otter, Mr. Knopf, Mr. Snyder. Thank you very much. Thank you. So with that, moving on to item D, update now, complete stuff, education. So now reported, first moving at now I start building on July 31st, 2025, follow up investigation. The now information report reporting incident, investigation, lead and active now information personnel policy. And we do have Dr. Jackson, Dr. Billy, and Edgewater, Dr. Yellowhair, and remember that this is Henderson here. So, medical. So with that, I guess we'll go ahead and move on to this report. Sure. You haven't said anything. So what's finished? All right, so with that, the floor is yours, and the last time it was moved to superintendent and there was no updated information on police report or any of that stuff, so. I guess at this point, I'll leave that discussion up to you guys. There was some areas, there was some conflicts, there was some confusion, stuff like that, at the last report, and so. Again, I'll leave it up to you guys as presenters, 20 minutes begins now.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Rich James and, HESI committee members. I did provide you a document. It's the, a report as a summary of the report on recent action that happened, reported early at the Navajo Head Start. On July 31st, it was, reported, it actually happened on July 30th. And, there, under the underlying items, it tells you what happened 1 through 4. And give you a timeline, and I actually received the, police report on August 15th. And it's attached. And, some items were, taken. Then, also, the other bullet that you had asking was there follow-up of the police report. And so the second underlying item shows a timeline of, what we did with the, after the police report is filed. And, we did, secure the conics that was broken into. And we did add additional security measurements with additional padlocks and chains, especially with the Navajo Fair being right there, located nearby. And the last bullet is underlined investigative leave as of Monday, September 8th, there were no investigative leaves that have been enacted on Navajo State Police. Well, that summarized, all the bullet points that you had for the report. Thank you. Good afternoon,
Health Education Service Committee is Honorable Chair James that would complete our report, sir.
All right, so thank you, and that's
17:45.
17 minutes, 45 seconds that you're early.
Yes.
So with that, committee member, where's a motion? You have a motion, accept the report. Updated report. Motion, go on. All about 90 days. Have a second? Anybody want to be second? George? Honorable George Cole? Committee members, are there any questions? Into this update? Honorable Cole? In chair members, as you go, committee report. Because it goes through the process. Oh, this is not a very animal. Sure.
Oh, right, very good. All right, Chair, fellow members, committee, I think there's not much we can do since going through the process. And, there's still some more disagreement in education and that's, so. It's just going to prove it, let's get this course, and.
Okay, so we're done, thank you very much, and there has been a request from DOJ to go into an executive session. I don't know how many minutes, so
5 minutes.
about 5 minutes. So that, committee members, I would it's up to you, 5 minutes to go into an executive session. Honorable Todd makes that motion. Yeah, second by Honorable Benito. So with that, are there any questions to go into executive session? For 5 minutes, Honorable Dr. Nance.
Yes, Chair, thank you. So can I get a motion for you why we're going to executive session?
Again, that was the request coming from the Department of Justice.
So are we going to executive session?
With respect to the questions that you had asked the last time, because Superintendent Edgewater and I have had some concerns about two floors. And so I don't know if they fulfill that requirement already, or if it's been in process.
All right, thank you. Are there any other questions to go into executive session for 5 minutes? None? Honorable Unito, have you thought?
Three.
Honorable Cole?
Three.
Honorable Dr. Nate?
Three.
Honorable Vice Chair?
Three.
Honorable Juliana Estegay?
Three.
And so with that, we do have 5 in favor, to go into executive session, 0 opposed, and chair not voting. And so with that, I'll go ahead and go into executive session for 5 minutes after everything has been turned off. Then I want to speak the Department of Justice and Department of Education and Head Start and committee members that will be present here. The rest, you guys can excuse yourself. But let me know when everything's off so I can get the announcement. So that, whenever. You ready, let me know. All right, so with that, we did go into executive session at 1:34 PM for 5 minutes. To get out of executive session, motion was made by Honorable Vice Chair, second by Honorable President Esposito. 5 in favor, 0 opposed, the chair not voting, we are out of executive session at 1:39 PM. So with that, staff, we can assist us with roll call.
Roll call after exiting executive session, Honorable Helena Nesta Gay. I'm present. Honorable Helena Nesta, roll call, Honorable Vincent James.
Delegate James present.
Honorable Jermaine Simonson.
Present.
Honorable Dr. Andy Ness.
Present.
Honorable George Cho. Honorable Percy Mitchell.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 6 members present, constitute the quorum.
Thank you. So with that, we are out of executive session. Are there any questions back to the main motion of the report? Any other questions? There is none. There was a motion made by Honorable question, Honorable Dr. Nis.
Not a question, I just want to state for the record, I'll be handing the files. Due to my report. Thank you.
All right, so with that, if there's no other question, Honorable Unico, how do you vote? Delegate Toll? Good. Delegate Dr. Nis? Vice Chair Jermaine Clemson? Honorable Leland Esposito? And so with that, we do have 5 in favor. And then 0 opposed and chair not voting. Again, thank you for the updated information from the last discussions that we had. Regarding the burglary and recreation, and the leads that have been happening there as now, that's us. Thank you again. Thank you. So with that, moving on to item number 6. A legislation number 0097-25. So the sponsor is Delegate Brenda Seuss, co-sponsors Delegate Jonathan Long, Delegate Jermaine Simonson. We do have co-sponsor here, and so with that, the request was to table the legislation. Table the legislation for 30 days when the primary sponsor agents are present. What are we doing? Okay. All right, so with that, since the tabling motion was done to have the primary sponsor agent present, I don't see the agent, the primary sponsor and the agent here. So I guess we'll just move on to the next item. Under new business. Since that was the request, so the primary sponsor is not here.
And the agent.
And the agent as well.
Yeah.
All right, so staff, if you can get the.
Are you the
sponsor, the primary sponsor? The primary sponsor notice, yeah. I believe the agent is here, but we don't have the primary sponsor. And that primary sponsor is Delegate Brenda Seuss. So the request to. When this tabling happened was to have the primary sponsor, which is Delegate Seuss, and the agent to be present. Right now, we only have the agent here. And we don't have the primary sponsor here. And so if we can get your name.
Marietta, so.
Did you get that? So I guess we'll have that on the next agenda first. So we'll just move this to the next SC agenda, and hopefully. Honorable Brenda Seuss will be joining us. I don't know if you'll be available next Monday again, because we have our heads and meetings every Monday.
Okay, I need you to next week.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome, thank you.
And so with that, we'll go ahead and move on, to the next item, which is item number 7. New business, that is legislation number 0210-25. Then we do have sponsor Delegate Otto So, co-sponsor Delegate George H. Cho. So with that, staff, you can read it into the record since we do have co-sponsor Delegate Toll. I'm here. With
Yes, Mr. Chair, members of the health, which is here, just committee.
Excuse me, so, Darlene Hanson?
She's not here.
She's not here, okay. So do you wanna move it to the next? Yes, sir. Next, meeting? Okay, per the co-sponsor, since the agent, is Dr. Darwin Manson is not here, the request is to move that up to the next. As the agenda, which will be next Monday. Per co-sponsor. So with that, moving on to 8, close the meeting, announcement, adjournment, next meeting, Monday, September 8th, 2 p.m. SE work session. Which is here in a bit, I believe in another 15 minutes. Friday, September 12th, SE work session. Now for the election administration, and that will be at 9 a.m. Window, Arizona, Budget and Finance Conference Room, Monday, September 15th, 10 a.m. Hess's regular meeting, via conference room. September 22nd, 10 a.m. Hess's regular meeting, via conference room. And then also, we do have Navajo Land Commission that was scheduled for September 10th on Wednesday at 7 a.m. And then also on September 11th at 7 a.m. That will be at the council chambers or budget and finance conference, whichever is available in it. So 8 a.m. for that, that's the only announcements that I have. I have a lot more other stuff, but that is this on Wednesday, Wednesday, 7 a.m. 7 a.m. Now, hopefully, Land Commission 10, September 10th. Other than that. And then I believe we have Nabi on the 11th too. 10 a.m. Nabi on the 11th.
I won't be here, I'll be, but the 4:15 and I'll be on up to 18.
We're on travel, right?
I'll be on travel if we have ski.
What dates?
The 15th through the 18th. You will be going to Washington DC.
You going to Hawaii?
On a boat.
To Hawaii.
No, Washington DC. Washington DC. Honorable Soul will be on travel to Washington DC, September 15th through the 18th. Just so you guys are aware, and this is asking to be excused on Monday, September 15th. Yeah, Vice Chair.
I also will not be available on the 12th for the work session. The ICWA program asked me to speak at their event on Saturday. So I'll be traveling down to Phoenix. Indian Child area.
I don't wanna see that from home.
When's that? Oh, yeah, I'll do that.
Friday, September 12th.
Yeah, in person it will be, but I will join virtual.
Join virtually.
No, what?
Hold on. You're gonna make her nervous when she's talking. Alright, so that's on September 12th, Vice Chair will be on as virtual for our SD work session with Navajo Election Office. And then Honorable Toast will be on travel September 15th through the 18th, that is to Washington DC, so Honorable Toast is asking to be excused for Hesse on September 15th at the end. Any others? If not, do I have a motion for adjournment? Motion made by Honorable George Holt, second by Honorable William Nancy. And so with that, are there any questions for adjournment here at 1:49 p.m.? Not? I'm going to need to have you vote. Delegate Toth. Good evening, sir. Good afternoon. Delegate Vice Chair.
Great.
Delegate Rena Nancy. That by 5 in favor, they were approved, and it is chair not voting, we are hereby adjourned at 1:49 P.M. Get their keeping in work session. We are fully adjourned.